It's Thursday night, and you know what that means. It's time for Comic Book Spectrum, as we do every Thursday, bringing you reviews and news from the world of comic books. And it is October 13th. Very lucky for us, 2022. We hope this is a good night for you, too. So stay tuned and enjoy the show.
Seconds.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
How dare you!
I wonder too. How dare we? Anyway, welcome to Comic Book Spectrum. We've got a full slate of comics to review tonight. And if you're watching us after the show is live, then please leave comments down below. We'd love to hear from you, and we will try our best to reply to you. Also, if any of our reviews have taken you to a comic book store or Comixology, wherever, and you've bought stuff based on what we've recommended, please let us know. We'd be interested in that. And now, I can't carry this show by myself, despite what I've been telling people for years. I've got to have my crew in here, and so we have got the one, the onlys, Clyde Hall, Jody McFee, and Eric Hawkins. Guys, how you doing tonight?
Living.
You call this living? No, actually, no. This, folks, honestly, we look forward to this time we can spend on the air and absorb abuse. But anyway, we look forward to your comments. Do not hesitate in making them, and we've got a whole bunch of cool stuff lined up for tonight. And I had another good week, as far as purchasing goes. So, yeah, so Cookie and I are going to have that talk again, I suspect, soon. and that's just my physical copies. I've also got 4 books on Comixology this week. So, yeah. So we'll be announcing a new host, as the current one will be dead by the time this episode airs. So anyway, but we look forward.
Not good.
No, well, not for anyone but Cookie, when she sees that suddenly our budget balances again. But anyway, let's go around the room and introduce ourselves, and we'll start with Clyde this week. Clyde, tell everybody who you are and why you're so amazing.
Well, that's a good question.
That's a crappy answer.
Yeah. I will begin by saying, even a man who is pure of heart and says his prayers just right can fill his wayward youth with comic book stacks till people say, that boy, he ain't right. My name's Clyde Hall, and I was that boy.
I still am.
Plus a monster kid and an amateur movie maker and a vintage toy collector and a Trekkie, and then Trekker, a fan of Pulp Fiction and a student of Fortean lore, none of which ever made me right. But now, I am an independent author, an award-winning audio drama scriptwriter, and a contributing writer at Stormgate Press. And available right now, you will find The Banshee Barnstormer by me. It is my contribution to Charles F. Millhouse's Captain Hawkland Lost Adventures 10th anniversary celebration. Thank you. Hey. I also have a story in the Stormgate Press anthology, Tim Bruckner's Major Marjorie, a collection of new pulp sci-fi fun. Brian Morris is in here too, along with Jim Beard and Alessia Kent. Yay!
Hey!
And Charles F. Millhouse putting it all together for us here. And Tim Bruckner also has his stories in here, along with his creation, Major Marjorie. It is available through Amazon, just like our 3 award-winning volumes of Stormgate Press's new pulp anthology series, Pulp Reality. 1, 2, and 3.
Crunch. 3.
And volume 4 is on the way soon. And it is one of the contributors this time is going to be Brian Rodman, our friend of the show. So, in fact, okay, our wayward friend of the show. But visit us at www.stormgatepress.com and you can see everything we have available in the new pulp genre and other fine selections of fiction. My love of graphic novels and the comic book medium is why I do online comic book reviews at places like doomrocket.com and The Beat, also known as Comics Beat. But Thursdays, that's my night to shine, like a harvest moon alongside my stellar Rising Tide Network brothers in celebration of NCBD +1 right here, right now on Comic Book Spectrum.
Beautiful. Thank you, Clyde. And now here he is, the one, the only, we can only hope, Eric S. Hawkins! Yay! Yay!
I'm a independent comic creator, mostly known for Zombie World of Oz and soon Zombieful Adventures.
Yay!
You could find me here on Thursday nights and other places on Thursday nights, and you might see me throw a comic book or tear one up, maybe burn one night, because they're not all great.
Take the batteries out of the smoke alarm.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Okay, and Eric, please put in the private chat the address for your Kickstarter for Zombieful Adventures.
Avengers. Ooh. I didn't know I was writing that one.
I just promoted you.
I might even have that page up. Hold on. I will share. I'll share this with you. I had the nicest backer email me today.
Yeah.
And just to let me know they're going to have to back out of their pledge. Times are a little tight, and they wanted to apologize to me. I was like, you don't apologize. There's a lot more important in life than comics.
Then you saw how much it was that they had promised, and then you go, okay, go ahead and apologize. Okay.
I'm withdrawing my $2,000, and
I thought that was sweet.
No, that is very sweet. Most of the time, you never find out why.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
True.
you're
You're just like, oh well, that's gone.
Yeah, and I block them.
Well, the campaign is doing well. We're at 80 backers, 23 days to go. I've been getting a backer every day at least, sometimes 2 or 3.
Beautiful.
We're trucking along. We've unlocked a stretch goal. We're just moving along.
Excellent. Well, just a second here, and everyone can do the association thing here, and
yes,
there we go.
Yay!
There it is.
Yes, click on that link, everybody. It should be showing up on the YouTube and Rising Tide Publications, Rising Tide Broadcasters pages, and pledge generously.
You can back for as little as $3 and get stuff. You get a PDF for $3.
Yeah, or you could just give Eric $1, and you don't get nothing but a warm glow, and it'll be your guilt burning through your heart because you didn't pledge at least $3.
Yeah, I mean, what's the extra 2? I mean, they get a 28-page PDF and maybe some extra artwork too.
Holy cats, that's awesome! Thank you, Eric.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And we'll be posting that later on. And here he is, the one, the only. We got a lot of one and onlys tonight. Joe D. McFee. How you doing, Joe? Hey!
I'm back. I'm sorry about last week, but unforeseen emergencies and everything. We have family members getting out of hospitals and stuff. That to me is more important than being here at comic book show. And you guys know how I am. I am Mr. Consistent. I will not miss unless it was unavoidable.
True.
Last week was unavoidable. But for those who don't know me, I am Joe D. McFee. I am the writer, creator of Primetime Saturday Night, AWF, and this nice little handy dandy series called Amazonian, which I'm holding issue number 7 in my hand, as well as in the process of still sketching items. And I'm going to preview this item if it could be seen very well.
Yeah,
it's
coming
good.
through. It's coming through.
I'm actually doing this using the non-photographic pencils as of right now, but I'm doing stuff that's in the future of this, I shouldn't say storyline, but in the series. So when I get to the second story arc, I'm really going to have 2 things going on at the same time. One is going to be about about heritage, and the other one is about mantles.
Interesting.
So, if you ever wondered, and here's kind of like a hint of where I'm going with that thought. If you ever wondered what happens when a hero of a city or area leaves, and there's a gap to be filled, what happens then? And then with the actual main hero, what else could they discover about themselves, especially about their own history? So
sounds good.
Kind of like something to kind of put in your ear here. But we're almost done with the first story arc. We still got about 5 or 6 more issues left for the story arc. So I know it's like somewhere between like a 11 or 12 issue story arc for the first story arc here. Because again, we have to introduce everybody. We have to get them into character, get you acquainted with them, make you like someone, make you hate someone. But that's why it's taking that
and
long.
kill some of them.
Not
That's me. I'm sorry.
Not necessarily killing the main people, but there is some killing.
Then on page 2 of the first issue.
Well, some of you read issue number 1, and that was one of the key things that I listened to everybody that beta read it. It's like, don't kill this character off in the first, don't kill him off in the second issue. Don't kill him off. Don't kill him off. Don't kill him off. Like, I'm not going to kill them all.
Till page 3.
But I gave them that scare, so I was like, hey, at least I did my job there.
You made them like them.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. That's cool. And what do you do on Saturday nights, Joe?
On Saturday nights, I do a small little unknown show where it's becoming sort of popular now, called From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher. And this week, I might take a suggestion from a person that watches the show here, and we're probably going to have kind of like comic book collecting 101, just the bare basics. But you might want to take in consideration here.
Interesting. Very cool. All right. Well, thank you, sir.
All right.
And I'm Brian K. Morris. I'm not the one and only. There are
Yay!
others. There are others, but they are sad. Anyway, I'm a writer, novelist. I do articles. I'm a publisher. I'm a freelance editor. I do a lot of shows that we'll talk about in a moment. And we win awards for some of our stuff. And I'm also... Yay! Yes! Exciting. And I'm also a Facebook famous YouTuber and former mortician's assistant. And we're not doing any shows this weekend for once. I get a weekend off. Maybe I'll finish a project. Yes! I know. I've only got the other 51 weekends accounted for. I'm taking one. It's obviously I'm on the downhill slide. But anyway, no, we are going to be not this weekend, but next weekend on Saturday, I believe starting about 10 or 11, I don't remember, we'll be at Writer's Block in Dayton, Ohio, and that's going to be at the Franklin Park Mall at 5001 Monroe Street in Toledo, Ohio. So please come see me. We're going to have a whole lot of books that you have not seen yet. And then the weekend after that, I will be at HalloCon. Go to hallocon.com for details. And I believe early registration is closed. Now, you can only get tickets at the door, but the nice thing is, one, laid back, you're going to meet a whole bunch of great authors. Not just myself, believe me, I'm a minor light in a lot of these. We've got a real NASA scientist down there who writes novels. And then we're also going to have, what's best is, don't bring any money for food. This is the South. They will feed you from the moment you walk into the show until they throw you out on Sunday afternoon. They will feed you. Trust me, you'll eat marvelously. So you're going to save a lot of money on food. Also, the venue has been remodeled. It's really nice. And we're going to have the premiere of 2 new books down there. One will be from Prose Press, The New Adventures of the Blue Circle, a very obscure comic book character, believe it or not, who we have dusted him off and made him really awesome. I have a story in here along with 2 other great authors. I'm in the middle of reading the other 2, edited by Cookie, and you'll get her autograph too if you ask for it nicely. And this just came in, Rising Sun Reruns from Becky Books, edited by Jim Beard. Yeah, this one is a whole bunch of us have talked about our childhood, like in the late 60s, early 70s, and the influence of Japanese entertainment, such as Ultraman, Johnny Sacco, Eighth Man, Speed Racer, things like that. And beautiful, beautiful cover here by Adam Shaw. And I just got it in today, but if you want to buy a copy, you can go to Amazon. It and the New Adventures of the Blue Circle are both available currently on Amazon. And if you buy them on Amazon and bring them to me at HowlCon, I will gladly sign those things for you. I really will. And there was something else. Oh, yes! This coming Wednesday, Clever Title Pending returns.
Yay!
The rest is over. And I'm really happy because we're going to have two great guests on. And I mentioned Jim Beard. He is one of them. And his publishing partner, John C. Bruning. Together, they are Flinch Books. And they have, if you want to learn more about writing and publishing and editing and just starting your own line featuring other writers, they are the people to ask about it. So please join us this coming Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, and learn a whole bunch of stuff about Flinch Books and Jim and John. They're really terrific people. They're funny as hell, and you'll learn a lot. I probably will too. I'll be there with my pad and paper scribbling as fast as I can. So that's what we're up to. Our hiatus is over, apparently.
Did you enjoy your vacation? Yes? Well,
yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Welcome to hell.
Yeah, because I'm also next week, I promised Michaela Jade I would be on Tidbits and Scribbles on Monday night. I will be with Morgan Komnick at the launch of she's doing a launch of her newest book, and I promised to host that for her. Then I've got Wednesday, I'll have Clever Title Pending, and then I'm here on Thursday, so if I pass out again, you'll know why. Next thing I know, my hand's in a glass of warm water. There's just no telling with these guys here. So anyway, let's see. Let's get into the comments here. And Donna Carlene is first. Mwah, I beat Carl again. I mean, getting in the room, and Carl says she tripped me. Unfair. And Donna, of course, smiles. And by the way, it was great hanging with you guys last weekend at FezCon at the Benton County Public Library. We had fun. We sold some books too. And another great Clyde Hall thumbnail. Yes, Clyde doesn't get enough credit for his thumbnails. I mean, seriously.
Yay! This one was easy though. After seeing Werewolf by Night on Disney Plus, it was like, oh yes. We're them. We must be.
If Rodman was with us, there was a perfect character for him.
There was. That would have been ideal. I may just do that one just for him. But I got to include Brian K. Morris's giant-sized man thing on the thumbnail finally. So my week was complete.
Wow.
Why used to be such a wholesome guy?
No, it wasn't.
Dear Lord, do not let me comment. Give me strength. Well, a lot of people I've been wanting a lot of people to see my giant-sized man thing for quite some time now.
I know you parade around. You want it shown, so I did.
And the judge warned me. He warned me more than once.
I took it by the reins and just laid it out there for everybody.
I wonder what that sudden warm feeling was, but anyway. And Donna Carly agrees with us. He's a talented dude. Yes, he is. And Philip Thompson, good to see you. He's got a thing for the Face of Horror. It's a competition to see who's going to be the new Face of Horror. So please give that man a vote. And just finished Michaela's last episode on Villa. I voted Justin needs his own story, says Donna Carly. Yes, the aforementioned Michaela Jade has a brand new serialized book on Villa right now. Please go read it. It's great. Speaking of great, there's Lissy. Hi, everyone. Mwah. Hi to you. How are you doing tonight? And don't forget, you've got an idle moment. Give some money to Eric Hawkins right there and get yourself some great comic book reading. Everyone says hello to each other, and then Glenn B. Fleming says, hey, it's bedtime. See you later. Hello, he must be going. That's Glenn Fleming. Check him out tomorrow, or no, he's on today. I don't know what day it is, with Ted Davies at 10 p.m. for a comic.
Today.
Yeah,
it was.
I don't know what day it is anymore. I'm just going to sit here and just keep the camera running and everyone can just come and see me. Anyway, Leslie says, to be fair, everyone is a one and only. That'd be a sci-fi comic if there were two of the same person. It would be frightening in some of our cases, too. And killing off all the characters on page 2, that sounds like something I might write, says Carl Witzman. Check out his stuff and Donna Carlitz on Lulu.com. And also, just because you want to do that in all your stories, Carl. And Dayton, Ohio, I went through there on a Greyhound bus in 1978. Didn't stop. Smart man. Although they have a Tim Hortons there, so I would stop. And no sequels that way, Donna. And Eric Hawkins likes killing off characters. Good man. And mostly his editor. But anyway, Grant Lager says, hey, kids. Hey, how you doing, Grant? Check him out. And Carl Witzman, everybody saying hello, 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 hello. And we are joined by the host of Never Mind the Furthermore, Mr. Nicholas Talker. Thank you, Nick, for being here.
Hey,
Glad
Nick.
to see you. And also Nerd Bacon, which was this morning. So I have
Mike Barron. Mike Barron was on there this morning.
Oh, cool. Cool. Making friends wherever you go, Nick. This is cool. Also, one of our hosts at LibraryCon last weekend. So, great hanging
And
with
where?
you. It was in the Benton County Public Library in Fowler, Indiana.
And what was it called?
It was called officially
I don't want officially. No one wants officially. It's over. Just say what it was.
FezCon, baby. I believe it was called FezCon, baby. But anyway, everyone say hello, 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 hello. We got a friendly crowd, and you guys are all in the next issue of Comics Unlimited, all 4 of you.
We are?
Wow.
We are?
Oh, no. Are you going to kill us off the way Eric does in his comic books?
And I'm thinking, I know Glenn wants me to write something, but it's like, and I'm thinking, my first thought was, oh, good, you guys got something in the new issue. Good for you, but where am I? But anyway, no, actually, I did talk to Glenn about a possible series I might do for him. So, and Giant Size, yeah. You laugh now, Grant, but you wait till you see my giant-sized man thing. In fact, you better step back a couple feet just to be safe. And I was thinking the same thing, Grant. And Nick goes, "Oh no, young guys are getting pulled in." Oh, that's how we get the new blood around here. But anyway. That is the comments for now, and we hope that you'll keep the comments coming. I'm sure you will. And we may not read all of them. We may flash them on the screen just to keep things moving along here. But don't stop now. I'm telling you. So anyway, we'll do it this way. Now, Joe, do we have the hotline tonight or not?
Yes, it's about that time.
It is that time. Let's have the hotline.
As we take a break.
Wow, you made some progress, brother.
Yeah, I mean, it's I start them, I try to finish them all in the same day.
Good
but
man.
It's about that time. Once again.
Okay, but real quick. Don't forget to like. Folks, if you enjoyed any part of this folderol so far, please give us a like. And please consider subscribing if you haven't already.
And come back and leave a comment after the show's over. Leave some comments. That helps the algorithms as well.
Yes, it does.
True.
Yeah, it takes a moment.
We need engagement.
That's
Outside
right.
of the folderol that we have in our live chat, we need some afterwards.
And Brian will answer every single comment.
I accept that challenge. All right. Thank you, Grant, and thank you guys for giving
Off
me
the
something
Fiverr
to
to
do.
find some bots to leave comments.
Aren't those the ones that usually start with "Hello, sailor"? Want to see my new my new pictures, that sort of thing, for $2.99 for the first minute? Yeah. Not that I know anything about that.
No, there's no bot that up here talks about, hey, how did you get that giant-sized man thing?
I went down to the drugstore, and there it was, right on the spinner rack. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
That sounds very painful. But okay.
Yeah. He left that drugstore. He went to that drugstore a boy, but he left a man. So, Joe, let's give you the screen, and quickly.
Grant Lacey, he does not want to go that route here. So
Too late.
By staying somewhat on the rails, we're kind of like in a wheelie motion right now. So we're on wheels instead of 4.
Popping wheelies on the rails.
Pay close attention to your options because they have recently changed. 4, Nubia, Queen of the Amazons, #2. please press 1. For variance number 1, please press 2. For Red Sonja, Red Sita number 2, please press 3. And for Hit Me number 3, please press 4. Please select now.
All right. So please make your selection, one and all.
Two.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Well,
and before the show gets canceled, please help us, Joe, says Carl Winsman. And Donna says 4. Eric says 2. Carl says 4. I will hold my vote because that's unfair of me to try to sway the audience here. So, and Mr. Rainbow.
I still haven't forgot. One of these books will lead into a rant.
Oh crap!
It's not too late to change your votes, kids.
Yes. So we
All
just
right.
started. So if you want, as of right now, if you want to change your votes and everything, please vote now. But I have to clarify that one of these books will make me rant.
I think through process of elimination, I know which one it is now. Mr. Rainbow 228, thank you for being here. So glad to see you.
Is it 1 or 2?
I'll give you guys one more hint. It's not 1. That's too obvious.
Yes, then that leaves, if you watched last week's show, and you might have seen it, Eric, I know. That leaves one comic.
Or if I went to the
And Carl
bathroom.
wants the rant. Now, I'm not going to say which one it might be.
Well, let's just vote for the rant. Just rant.
Yeah, rant.
Okay, there we go. I vote for the rant.
Rant.
Rant. So anyway, while we're all voting for the rant, Eric, would you like to go first?
Yeah. Let me. I need to share my screen.
Hey, Eric.
Yes.
Do you have a show tonight?
Yes.
What are we drawing?
We are drawing. I can't remember the name of it, but I have it up here because it's going to launch on Kickstarter tonight as we go live, I believe.
Ooh,
cool.
Occult
Nice.
Descent by Sheldon Martin. He's one of the artists that joins us on the show, but he always draws along with the show.
Mhm.
And it's how far would you go to help a friend hunted by an ancient psychopathic mutant vampire?
I've always wondered that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it should be fun. I'll be drawing a vampire of some type. And I just saw another book that looked really good on Kickstarter. It hasn't launched yet, but I saw someone post, they're trying to get signups, and they got 50 followers now. It's a Return of Jake Sunrise, a Weird West tale about a bounty hunting exploits of a mute vaquero? Vaquero?
Carol?
Yeah. But it's, how did they describe it? It was in the post on Facebook, it was Cannibal Mutant Hunting Hillbillies.
Wow.
I was like, I
There's
might
a
have to
tag.
back that one.
There's a tagline for you.
Yeah, so we're drawing vampires tonight. Should be cool. I mean, it's
Excellent.
Halloween, so
Yeah,
or
why not?
October. So let me.
Yeah, find your link and I'll put that up there for you.
Did they change the name of it? No. Share screen. Share this one. Okay, so whenever you're ready.
All right, just a second here, because we also want to not forget. Please go to that site. We will even forgive you if you go open a tab right now.
And if you want to stay on the rails, my book is about a train full of zombies.
That's about the only way this show stays on the rails. So yeah, we're going to add this to the stream here. And
Did I leave that up? I'm sorry. Oh,
you don't want it yet?
no. No. Please. So Kickstarter gives out, projects they love awards anytime someone launches a project. I have yet to get this award, so I make my own. 5 successful projects, 0 loved by Kickstarter.
Yay!
Yay!
That's quite distinguished there.
So yes, yeah. So I'm afraid to put it on Kickstarter. They might kick me off the platform, though. They like my money, but they don't like me. So I'm not reviewing a comic tonight. I'm going to review Werewolf by Night and try not to give any spoilers.
Yay!
Yay!
I'm going to do my best not to give any spoilers. Yeah, I think I could do that. So
All right.
Werewolf by Night is based on the Marvel comic book, Werewolf by Night, of course, about Jack Russell. It's Jack Russell, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I always get thrown up because all the reviews I was watching, they're talking about, isn't that a dog? Yeah. So I like, review-wise on YouTube, I like watching Screen Crush.
Yay!
And he's got a little dog with him.
Ryan Airy.
Yeah, Ryan Airy. And I love the little
Yeah.
dog. And I watch a spoiler show, too. And that guy's either in Australia or New Zealand. But they're friends, but they bicker about each other's channels all the time, too. But yeah, I just love that. I love Doug, the little dog, on the one show. So Werewolf by Night, based on the comic book, of course, by Marvel. This is not a series on Disney Plus. It's not a movie. It was just a special presentation. So it was just under an hour, I do believe. Now the show had a very old feel to it, like an old Universal Monsters movie. And it was shot, or I don't know if it was shot in black and white, but it's presented in black and white. It has quite the feel to it as an old Universal movie. That was the logo. As you can see, it looks very Universal-like or old monster movie-like. And the story revolves around Ulysses Bloodstone has died. He was a caveman who found the Bloodstone, which gave him longevity and powers, and he would hunt monsters. So he's died and needs to bestow the Bloodstone to what would usually be his daughter, but she's left the family for about the past couple decades. It hasn't been around, so she doesn't get to inherit it anymore. So a group of hunters that hunt have come to try to win the Bloodstone for themselves. With Jack Russell is one of the hunters that shows up. Now whether he's the actual hunter, or he's just pretending to be one of the hunters, I'm not quite sure on that. I've seen different things on reviews. I think he's pretending to be one of the other hunters that somehow didn't make it. And wow, why did this get so small? It's so much bigger. So this is one of the hunters.
That's what she said.
Now this one is the one that would have been perfect for Rodman as a thumbnail picture.
Yeah.
But you guys might
You know who the
recognize
actor?
him
Yeah. Tell him.
as this guy.
Yeah.
Does anyone recognize this guy?
I
He
should.
got the Vulcan death grip on his
Yeah.
neck in Star Trek.
Star Trek: The Voyage Home.
Oh,
Yeah,
yep.
he was playing the
Yeah.
radio. It is the same guy,
Oh, cool.
but much older now.
He actually reprised the role of the punk rocker in Picard season 2 because it's a time travel story or
Oh, okay.
alternate reality story, and he got to play this character again, listening to a redo of the same song, turned up very loud, and this time when 7 of 9 asked him to please turn it down, he remembered before he got like a twitch in his shoulder, and he went, "Sorry, I just really like this song."
That explains why I was trying to find this picture.
Mhm.
One of the autofills came up as this guy Picard. I'm like, was it
Yeah.
Picard? Who's thought that?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I
Funny.
saw pictures of him older dressed up as this then.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not a spoiler because Man-Thing has been in the trailers for the show. Man-Thing is the monster they need to hunt and defeat in the garden to get the Bloodstone. So Man-Thing has been captured. He's out in the garden, and they must defeat him to get the Bloodstone. You can stop sharing, Brian. That's all the pictures I had.
All right. That was great. That's a great presentation, sir.
So what I remember most about Universal movies, because I'm not old enough to have seen them when they came out,
Get off my lawn.
was Saturday mornings, starting around 11, or Sunday mornings. One of the local stations here had a movie feature. It had 3 movies
Welcome
usually.
to KPLR TV, Channel 11.
KPLR, yes. They would have,
Movie.
typically,
Sunday
we would have a comedy, a horror, and more of a drama. The comedies I do recall, Ma and Pa Kettle, Francis the Talking Mule, Stooges,
Abbott and
Abbott and Costello, of course.
Mhm, mhm.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where all my sophistication comes from movies. But then they would also show a horror movie. Now, Mom would not let me watch horror movies when I was younger. She didn't like them. But the Universal ones, which, I mean, they're horror, but, they're old, and you're not really going to get scared from watching them, I don't think. Those I was allowed to watch because they came on in the middle of the day. Exorcist, I didn't get to see that till I was about 30 something.
Ooh.
Wow.
And I did not find it that scary when I finally got to see it. But so I spent many years catching up on horror movies that I did not get to see as a younger adult because my mom wouldn't let me when I was a teenager and stuff. But on Saturday mornings or afternoons or Sundays, I'd watch these. I'd sit there for, I mean, it was a good 6 hours. Watch it through. Well, I'd usually bail out when the drama came on. I was like, yeah, I don't need to watch this. But I mean, that's where I caught all my movies as a kid if I didn't see it in the theater. Because we didn't have VCRs. We didn't have cable. Some of you might have cable. I didn't have cable. we didn't even have a remote control. That was me and my brother. We had to go up and change the dial for parents. But that's where I saw the Universal monsters. You know, Frankenstein, Dracula, the Mummy, Creature from the Black Lagoon. And this show had, to me, it had that same kind of vibe to it, that feel. It wasn't cheesy, I didn't think. I mean, there's a little bit of comedy here and there. They pop in, which is cool. There's really, modern slashers have a lot of jump scares. This really didn't have a jump scare. Well, one slight jump scare, but it wasn't even really a jump scare. But it was really fun to sit down and watch. And I couldn't get anyone else to sit down and watch it with me. But Jennifer did watch half of it, but I don't think she was too impressed. Because Nora, I tried to get Nora to watch it with me. Why is it in black and white? Like, well, it's supposed to look like an old movie. I don't like black and white.
Oh.
So she did not watch it, which I thought she would have liked it once she got to see Man-Thing, because Man-Thing was my favorite part about the whole show. The only things I really didn't like, and one thing, it was just the makeup of Jack when he turns into the werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of what I thought they would do, though, but it just seemed cheap. Compared to all the stuff they usually do. But it looked good. But I just wanted a little more out of that. But I mean, even how they showed the transformation when he does change, I mean, everything was really good. I would recommend anyone that likes the old Universal stuff. If you like old black and white horror, Hammer horror. If you like Marvel, of course. If you like Man-Thing, who predates Swamp Thing, I would recommend you watch this. Now, I'm going to give it a high ranking just because it's a show and not a comic, but still not going to give it a 10. I'm going to give it a 9, but I'm going to say it was. I don't know if it's not as good as WandaVision. I really love that one. It's not as good as Moon Knight because I just love Moon Knight, so that really can't beat that. But it's better than Winter Soldier. I did not watch
Loki?
Miss Marvel. Loki's very high up on the list, too. I didn't watch Miss Marvel. And She-Hulk. Oh, it's better than She-Hulk. By a lot. Except episode 8 of She-Hulk. and maybe 2 minutes of episode 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is a great show. I mean, I think you could probably let a young teenager watch it. There is a lot of blood, but it's all black and white, so that's how they get away with showing so much blood, because apparently the rating system doesn't care as long as it's not red blood.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving it a 9. I recommend everybody go watch it if you haven't yet.
Very cool. Very cool. All right.
It was a nice Halloween treat.
Yeah.
I did not expect the trailer. Whoever cut the trailer for that, I don't know whether they should be promoted or fired, because it was very unassuming. It just didn't really inspire anybody that I know to watch it. But they could have gone overboard and given away too much.
They could have, yeah. I mean, it's only, a 56-minute show? 50-minute show? It's not very long.
So, but the trailer did not impress me. I was surprised at how good it was. But like you, the makeup, I was hoping for a Lon Chaney kind of Mike Ploog drawn. Mike Ploog made the original Werewolf by Night look kind of like Larry Talbot, but improved.
Yeah,
no shirt, the pointed ears, And I don't know that they can do that because Wolfman is trademarked. The
Mhm.
universal appearances of the way that the monsters look are trademarked.
Yeah.
So that may be intentional. Also, the actor could emote well without having all the stuff on his
yeah,
face.
yeah.
You know, so I was glad that they didn't go with the whole. There for a while, they tried to make Jack Russell like he's a damned soul, so he must look like the Howling with the backward bent legs and stuff. I hated that look for him, so I'm glad they didn't go that route at least. But
Yeah. I mean, it looked a little cheap.
mhm.
I'm sure if it was a higher production, if they did a movie, if he gets in a movie, it's going to be upgraded quite a bit. But since most of it was in the shadows and stuff, you really couldn't tell.
Right.
Some of it was kind of sparse hair. I was seeing through it. I was like,
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it quite a bit. I really liked it.
It had a good story too.
Yeah. And
Really-
if you like Easter eggs, there's all kinds of Easter eggs.
Yeah. Something else that I got right from the beginning, and Brian Morris, you will probably agree with this. It is Universal-ish, but it also has a certain flair for those CBS special presentation films that were like, the stuff that they would put out for Trilogy of Terror.
Yeah.
And then right at the beginning, it's like, ba-dum, they have the spinning. And, yeah, they pay homage to that too. And now
Nice.
the director is a composer, and he started off doing Marvel.
This was his first directing gig. Yeah.
Yes, but man, the musical score for this is amazing. It does have that between the Exorcist sounds and into the Universal kind of. He takes familiar tunes from the Marvel universe and he twists them around. So
He's written a lot of those tunes.
Yes.
Ooh, I love that.
Now, I have two favorite soundings. One's a song. One wasn't a song, but there's a song at the end. I won't spoil that for anyone. So I love that.
Mm-hmm.
But the flaming tuba and the flames.
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought that was just really cool.
It has some
It's
great.
such a little goofy thing, but I thought that was really.
But it's appropriate. It has these little bits of humor, punctuated by all the stuff that's supposed to be scary and the monsters, and that's where humor should come into play. There's one word spoken that takes a monster who's going, and it's like, and they go, Great moments like that in it.
Sounds good.
It was a
Good.
good, heartfelt. Gave you good feelings in your belly.
Yeah.
And who couldn't use that?
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Thank you, Eric.
Sure.
That was cool.
Look,
And we have
I've
comments.
only watched it like 7 times now.
Oh, is that all? Jeez. And now Eric's going to leave so he can watch it again while the rest of us have to work. And,
Right here.
yeah, right? He can ignore us. And Jack Russell Terrier, that's who it is, Carl.
That's where it is.
And Mr. Rainbow 228 says, my brother loves the old Universal movies. I do too, with a white hot passion. In fact, last year I actually went and I splurged to get the collector's editions, which has all the werewolf movies, all the Universal Draculas. Primo stuff.
My favorite ones are the Abbott and Costello and Dracula and Frankenstein and all of them.
I didn't like that one when I was young. I thought, this is silly. But then I watch it as an adult, and I'm like, wait a minute, no. It is very well done. Because Abbott and Costello, of course, are funny. But it doesn't diminish the danger they're in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're seriously in trouble. They're going to get killed.
Frankenstein was a classic.
Mm-hmm.
Frankenstein was so good. Glenn Strange doesn't get enough love for his portrayal of the monster. And the thing is, you know who taught him all the beats and everything?
Mm-hmm.
Boris Karloff himself.
Sure
They
did.
co-starred on one of the House of Dracula, House of Frankenstein, one of those house movies. Not to be confused with Dr. Gregory House. But Karloff had he was the big bad in it, and so Glenn Strange was like, how do I do this? How do I do that? And Karloff shared his expertise with him, and I think that's why Glenn Strange, I put him almost up at the same plateau as Karloff, because Karloff taught him how to do it. Now, Lissy says, now don't feel bad, Dad. She won't watch black and white movies or shows with me either. And then she rolls her eyes the entire time I'm watching Twilight Zone. Yeah. And Jennifer Hawkins weighs in. Hello, Jennifer. I watched it twice with you, so stop. But no,
He's
not
only seen the
impressed.
second half twice with me.
And everyone's saying hello, hello, hello to Jennifer.
It's kind of a geek thing. I mean, that helps a lot.
It's a monster kid.
I
Yeah,
can see
monster kid
that.
thing.
I can see that, but yeah, I'm with Carl. It's like I grew up with the Universal monster films.
Yeah, I had a
and the Hammer films.
I had a little bendy rubber King Kong, but I also had a little rubber bendy Frankenstein. In the 70s.
Uh-huh.
I just love stuff like that.
Oh yeah, same here. And we just finished watching a bunch of Hammer films. Donna, nothing wrong with that. I love those things too.
My daughter brought this back from Universal Studios, one of those machines that fills up the mold of Frankenstein. And I'd only seen them online from when they had those kind of machines somewhere in Los Angeles. But I now have my own little Frankenstein statue thanks to Brittany. So
Cool.
I hear what you're saying. Monster Kids rule.
I should look see if I can find one to print somewhere on the 3D printer.
There you go.
Dude, if you do.
Though I do have to get a new FEP sheet for my printer. It goes under the bed. There's a pinhole in it. Some resin leaked out on it. Last time I was like, where'd that come from? I'm like, oh no. Which happens after, I've printed a ton of stuff. So if it happens, it's just a sheet you replace.
Okay, well that's good. And Dan Hollifield, author, raconteur, and co-host of Stupid O'Clock and Michaela Jade. Tidbits and Scribbles. Good evening to you. Good evening to you too. Glad to see you here, Dan. Hope you're doing well. Check out Stupid O'Clock Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern and 11 p.m. on Saturday nights. And that Frankenstein is awesome, Clyde. I gotta agree with you. That is a work of beauty. And good evening to you, Dan. Glad to see you. And if you do print any, I want one. Lissy, I was about to say the exact same thing. Everyone's saying hello to Dan now to welcome him as he should be welcomed. So before we get to Joe's, remember we still have a few. We'll give you a little more time to get your votes in. You can vote for one of the 4 comics. You want to do it real fast, Joe, and tell everybody what they're voting on.
Well,
and the shortcut.
I'm going to make it this one easy because if it's unanimous for if it's unanimous for rant, I'll go ahead and rant.
Okay,
rant. If it's not unanimous, I'm going to make you guys sweat this one out because I know what the votes look like so far. But just to refresh as you asked.
Type rant in the comments now.
For number 1, Nubia, Queen of the
we know it's not one. Take that one out of there.
Yeah, we know it's not one.
Yeah.
We have insider information.
We have variants number 1, which is number 2, which is option 2. Option 3 is Sonya Red Sita number 2.
Did you almost say Red Sonya?
Number 3.
Rant.
So get those votes in now, and poor Dan would be doing better with my keyboard to wake up faster. I understand. So anyway, we'll give your now if you want to vote for 1, put rant in the comments. If you want to vote for number 2, put rant. And if you want to vote for number 3, put rant. And if you want number 4, just type rant. Your fingers are going to get tired. So anyway, not that I'm trying to sway the audience at all, okay? But anyway, we've got a couple sponsors here, and we'll give you time to give your vote, to give you time to vote for the rant. And so anyway, we have a couple sponsors here, and we want to pay them homage. First of all, we want to talk about our Patreon subscribers. Patreon is a monthly subscription service where you can financially support your favorite creators, and these people are backing the rising tide, and I'm grateful for each and every one of them. And they get cool stuff, like get advanced looks at works in progress, and twice weekly at least, blog 3 times if I screw up like I did last week, and all kinds of cool stuff. So check us out at www.patreon.com so you can see all the cool stuff that we offer you in exchange for your support. And we are also brought to you by Rising Tide Publications. The Terrors will be out before the end of the year, so get ready for that. Watch your local social media for information on that. And then also don't forget our main sponsor is Plasma Fire Graphics. As always, we're proud to say Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you.
You've worked hard and written a great book. Now, it's time to give it a great cover. If you're an indie author or small press publisher, Plasmafire Graphics is your source for affordable cover illustration and graphic design. Plasmafire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you.
And we've mentioned Pulp Reality number 4. Jeffrey Hayes is doing the cover to Pulp Reality number 4, which will be out in the next couple of months. And it's a beaut. And Jeffrey, the thing is, he's also fast. So you're not going to have to wait 6 months for a cover. You're going to get it really quick, and it's going to look gorgeous like you just saw those examples there. So check out the Plasmafire Graphics Facebook page. Then pop on over to plasmafiregraphics.com and then ask about Jeffrey's indie-friendly pricing on all of the stuff you need to sell that great book of yours. That's Plasmafire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you, because it definitely matters to your readers. All right, and we have one more comment here. Dan Hollifield says, go ahead and cut loose, Joe. You'll feel better after a good rant. So I think we've got a consensus here, Joe, or at least on my end.
Yes, I see the exact same thing here.
Okay, so we'll leave it up to you.
We should be good to go. And just to let you guys know, there we have it.
Dang.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's the accountability sketch for today here.
All right.
And to also let you guys know, if we would have went on the regular vote, y'all would have messed up again.
What?
Yeah. You voted for the wrong thing.
What?
The top vote getter was number 4, and that was not the book. So that's why I gave you guys the out to say, hey, if you guys really want me to rant, because I've been teasing this for quite some time, it is what it is. And tonight's book, which again, for the person who wrote it, the fact that I'm a fan of this character, and it's just the way I just can't understand how certain things get through. You guys can still hear me, because I know it looks like I'm frozen on the screen.
I can hear you, Joe.
Okay, so give me 1 second.
You look pained.
Yeah, let me do this here. Let me come out and come back in, because you guys got to see this, because I'm up here more along the lines. This is stuff that has to be shown.
This is along the lines of, why should Joe suffer alone?
Exactly.
Yeah, so go ahead and back out, Joe. I'll bring you back in. Okay. Hi there.
Hey, I put a couple of links in for Jeffrey Hayes's new Pulp Reality 4 cover, since it's been revealed,
cool.
in the private chat over there. So,
all right. Actually, I think what I'll do is I will copy, and I'll see if I can share it. How's that sound? Because seeing is believing, and it is
nice.
It is Trey Sweet. All right, here we go. And Joe, I see you there. I'm going to add you in just one moment. I've got to share something here. Oh, it's now present. Excuse me.
Okay, so it wasn't just me.
No, it was not you.
Okay.
It was not just you. And let's see.
I was like, did it always say present? I don't think it did.
Let's see. Oh, yes. There we go. And then we go back to StreamYard to manipulate this. And here we go. Add that. And
boom.
How about that? Now, there is. I did notice there is one mistake, huge mistake on this cover, though. Look who's mentioned first among the creators.
Maybe that's a different Morse.
Yeah.
It's got to be. It must be. It's like I'm listed ahead of Bobby Nash and Clyde Hall and Rick Brand. I mean, in what alternate reality does this take place? That's what I want to know.
It's reverse alphabetical order.
Oh, okay, there we go. That must be it. That must be it. Or, I'm the sheep being pushed blindfolded into the minefield. But anyway, Stormgate Press puts out this great pulp reality, and I think I see another Pulp Factory Award in our future. I really do. So anyway, we're going to bring Joe D. McFee back in here, and we'll give him the screen and lay into it, Joe.
For the and as I was saying before, I don't blame the writers. I don't blame the artistry.
Yeah, sure.
Put this solely on the editorial, the editors.
Stinking editors.
I just want to.
They all suck.
I just want to choke whoever did this one. Just the choices that they made. It just. But the book that's in question, and the rant goes towards the variance number 1. Now, like I said, I'm a fan of Jessica Jones. I'm also a reader of Gail Simone's work from time to time. She did this with Phil Nato in this one. And I'm up here like, okay, let me go ahead and give this, a nice little read and everything, because, I have read some of Gail's stuff. Sometimes she's on, sometimes she's off. Never enough to make me want to rant. However, this is why I'm up here more along the lines like, well, what's going on here? So we open up the book, inside cover, we got an ad, no big deal. And here we get the first page, and we get like a little bit of synopsis saying that Jessica Jones is a former costume inventor known as Jewel. Though she retains her superhuman, strength and vulnerability and healing over the years, she became a private investigator, yada, yada, yada. And it sets up the aspect of all the different variants that she could possibly be. So it's like, okay, cool. I could, jump into the story right away. And then what happens?
What happens?
We get a bullpen. All this bullpen stuff on the next page. What in the world is this? What? This has nothing to do with the story. Nothing. They're talking about Captain America's Sentinel of Liberty. This has nothing to do with the story.
He's their Batman.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with anything. So 1 page in, you go right into an ad. Couldn't this ad wait until you get at least, somewhat into the story, where a person could be like, okay, I'm ready. I'm licking my chops, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, after these messages. At that point, you make a person want to turn off the television or turn the channel and watch something else. The story is not important anymore. In this case, it could make a person 1 page in hate the fact that they spent, if I could get into focus here, the $3.99 that I paid for this book. I could understand if it was like a general advertisement, but they did this as like a bullpen to hype up the talent. Not talk about the book about Captain America and the Sentinel of Liberty. They're talking about the creators, these were interviews. What does these interviews have anything to do with this book? If it was a regular advertiser, I probably wouldn't have be ready to rant. This should be in the back of the book. This is an afterthought, not the second page in an actual issue. I'm sorry, that's just wrong. But getting off of that, like I said, the story itself, it's not bad. It's not bad, but like I said, I'm going to point out all the editing choices as far as how they looked at this book and laid it out. And this is just the tip of the iceberg of what they did that ruins the flow of this story. This is just the tip of the iceberg. So pretty much we got Jessica pretty much, looking at a coffee shop and everything. And she's, reflecting about her past and everything, about how she used to go in there and everything. It's been a long while since she had, a cup of coffee and everything to that magnitude at this particular shop. Because like I said, through all the stuff that happened with Alias, her own series and everything to that magnitude, there's a lot of things that kind of makes her hesitant of, partaking in that particular establishment. So instead of doing that, she goes, she's thinking about, she eventually about to become married, be married. She had a child by Luke Cage or Lucas Cage. We know him as Luke Cage and everything to that magnitude. And she's going through the motions of, just trying to get used to this new life and everything. So she goes to like this one store and she's up here trying on all these different shades of lipstick and all this other stuff, kind of like reflecting about her past and how everything is about to become what is quote unquote normal for somebody of her ilk, being like a mother and wife and everything. So, after it was all said and done, she purchased the lipstick. The person who sold her the lipstick gives her a hug and everything, kind of reminiscing about all this other stuff. And then shortly after that, she kind of has like a blackout, and she doesn't understand why she blacks out and everything. However, guess who happened to be there? Daredevil. So Daredevil pretty much sees pretty much using his hearing or his so-called ability of echolocation, notice the change in heart rate, breathing and everything, swoops down, gets Jessica and everything to that magnitude, swoops her back up to the roof and everything. And, he kind of like asking her questions about, it's like, hey, have you been ODing on coffee again? Is this like a caffeine type deal? And she's like, no, I haven't touched the stuff. This, that, and the other, yada, yada, yada. She doesn't know where all this other stuff is coming from. And then he happens to notice that it's like, hey, you got on brand new lipstick and everything. And it's like, really? Why is this lipstick now a pointed part of the story? It's like she just blacked out and everything to that magnitude. But the conversation moved more towards, it's like, hey, he needs her help on a case that he's working, and he needs her assistance. So pretty much, in the middle of the conversation about, talking about if she needs a ride home and whatnot and everything, and, didn't really give any indication that the conversation was finished. We turn the page and we get an ad for Gambit. So, and this is the thing. Conversation has not finished. Ad for Gambit, and then we get the rest of the conversation, how it ends. Really, this ad couldn't wait. It couldn't wait until the scene changes again to where it's more resounding. You could actually say end scene and shift everything where it could be like a natural break. Again, that's strike number 2. Why is the layout like this? This doesn't make any sense. That takes away from the story to break in the middle of a conversation like that. So the conversation ends about, her actually, helping out Daredevil more so in the more legal sense, as far as him being a lawyer and everything, me and her in the courtroom and everything. And she's still thinking about everything. And she finally comes back home. Luke is knocked out, sleeping in bed, and she's up here, decides to get some shut eye to meet Matt Murdock in the morning and whatnot. So it's early in the morning and everything, and she decides to go back to the coffee shop to get her a cup of coffee and everything. And, she's promptly greeted and everything. She's minding her own business, drinking her coffee. And guess who happens to walk in? And this part doesn't make any sense to me, but I'm glad to see that the character is still in the Marvel Universe. And I'm upset that he looks the way that he does, because he doesn't look the way that he's supposed to.
What character is this?
Hammerhand.
No, seriously, what character is this?
Hammerhand.
Yeah, right.
That's how they draw him now. The guy in the hat. That's Hammerhead. Right there.
April Fools. Come on, Joe. Quit pulling the leg.
No, I'm not kidding you.
Plastic surgery does wonders nowadays.
Right.
Yeah.
That's him. He called out Hammerhead. That's how they draw him now. I'm like, that's not him. I'm going like, wow, that redesign is redesigned all right.
It's more like a D design,
Mhm.
like
So
de-evolution.
I left it alone. I left the design alone and everything to that man too. It's like, you know what, they're trying to bring the character back. They got brand new artists. They want to do something different to a character that has been established in the Marvel universe through Spider-Man through how many issues? And
Like
they
since the late
redesign
60s?
and they redesign him as like a smaller version of his henchman. His henchman, like he was equivalent to the henchman himself. He was not somebody that you want to get into a fight with. This guy just looks like, oh, I'm just like a a regular thug type, wannabe mobster. If Hammerhead showed up, it's like somebody's going to get messed up. So pretty much, Hammerhead coming in, doing his whole racketing thing and everything to that magnitude, and Jessica is up there. It's like, hey, could you guys hold it down, this, that, and the other. It's like, you know, it's like the whole thing about, well, I don't care who you are, and this, that, and the other, and pretty much she roughs up Hammerhead and her and his cronies and whatnot easily by just shattering a couple of glasses of coffee over the top of their heads and whatnot, and this, that, and the other, and pretty much roughs up Hammerhead, leaves him for the cops and whatnot, and she proceeds forth to the courtroom. Now, people like myself, old schoolers who are not as old as what they look, we sit back and we look at something like this, and it's like, what the modern generation will not know about certain characters if they get redesigned like this.
It's boring.
Hammerhead would have never approached this the way that he did. And if he did, his cronies would have gone first, and he would have been like, okay, fine, Miss Jones, I'll take care of this episode a little bit later, and he would have had a bigger plot point. He would have never been reduced to a common, everyday wannabe mobster.
Well, that's it. Before he had a distinctive appearance, the way John Romita drew him originally, and now he just looks like any other guy. It's boring.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it is harder to trademark too. Anyway, go on. It's your rant, not mine.
She finally gets to the court and everything, and she was brought in. Oh, again, this is an another editing plot point. She finally gets to the court. She walks in the courtroom, and you're up here like, okay, what's about to happen now? We get a Neil Adams tribute. Now, I'm not going to be upset that the Neil Adams tribute happens in this issue. Neil Adams was a great guy and everything, but editing wise, why are you breaking up the story again? You didn't do it at the beginning of the transition of the scene, which means that whoever drew this book did not draw this story the right way. It's almost like you're telling your artist at this point to draw less panels to move the story along, but yet you're gap filling with double page spreads and all these different ads that messes up the flow of the story. Again, she finally entering in the courtroom, and the action has already started, and then you want to make me wait 2 pages before we have Matt Murdock approaching the bench and stating what she's stating here, and having Jessica takes the stand to talk about her dealings with aka the Purple Man, and how messed up and vile the Purple Man can be with a person's psyche. So again, I'm not upset that he deserves his 2-page spread. I'm not upset about that, but it's just it broke the flow of the story, which shouldn't have happened. What type of editing is going on here? It tells me that whoever's editing this book have not truly edited comics as far as understanding where a good break in the story should occur, where you could put in a ad. But getting back to where we were at, Matt brought it to the stand. She, testify about the whole idea about what Purple Man has done can do to a person's psyche and all the mental anguish that can be caused and everything. And then Matt asked her, it's like, hey, why don't you just go and talk to her to make certain that she's comforted and whatnot. So they go into this witness chamber. They have their one-on-one and everything, and she starts to tell her about how Purple Man, kind of led her away, the same way. And then she gave Jessica a warning. It's like, just like he, did what he did to me, he also just don't let you go. He actually puts in booby traps in your mind where you are kind of like you would never forget him, nor would you want to be completely free of him, because he will make certain that you will relive your pain. And he said he does that to every last one of his victims, even you. And Jessica had a hard time accepting that. So she leaves, this particular individual and everything. Now, mind you, she's leaving the room again. The scene really hasn't stopped because of the simple fact that she leaves the room. And what happens again? We get this whole thing about Avengers and Moon Girl #1 with a peel away code there. I haven't peeled away the code and whatnot, but again, we get another ad that breaks up the story, because they felt like her walking out the room and then confronting Matt Murdock in anger is a scene switch, and it really wasn't. They're still really within the same realm of whatever is going on, and because there's 2 panels left in that scene, they decide, oh, go ahead and put it here, because technically the new scene starts here on panel 3. So again, just the layout of the story is just irking me to no end at this point. I just don't understand what the editor is seeing at this point. But maybe this is new school storytelling. I don't know. So pretty much, she gets a cab ride home. She finally gets back to their location and everything. And then all of a sudden she noticed that everything just seems kind of off and whatnot. And then she noticed noise in the baby's room. So she goes and looks to see somebody else standing there and everything. And she goes to attack, and it turns out she's attacking herself. And then as they're fighting, here comes a shield, bonks both of them in the head, and we get another ad again. Scene's not over, but we get another ad for Wild Cards #1. Again, stuff that could have waited until the end of the scene. And then we can finally get the last page of the issue where we get to see Jessica Jones as a Captain America from a different universe. And it says, next Green Muscle. So pretty much we're about to see different incarnations of Jessica Jones based upon all the mind traps that Purple Man has placed into her, like the lady was saying here. And then at the very end, which I kind of have to give them somewhat of a kudo for this, we get an ad for variance #2. And then the back cover, we got the whole thing about the 4th issue of the Ant-Man miniseries coming out. I mean, but it is what it is. I can't say no more, no less here. But my major concern here, and this is what reason why I'm up here, is like, if I read issue #2 and it's laid out kind of like the same way, I'm probably going to be ranting throughout the whole series about this. Why? Because for some reason, you're ruining what could be a great story based upon the layout and the pacing being interrupted by advertising. Granted, advertising pays the bills. I'm not going to knock that. But you don't kill your story to place an ad here, there, and everywhere. And if the artist is not laying out the pages correctly to make the story work, then maybe you need to go and find a different artist, or hold off on the book, let the artist do the work the correct way, where you can get those nice, pretty breaks to make something like that work as far as the layout of how you want to have your ads up in here. But something got to give, and a lot of this stuff comes back down to the editor. If the editor is worth his weight in gold, his or her weight in gold, they would catch these types of things and come back and be like, you know what, we got to do better. We got to do better. We got to make certain that this stuff works. With that being said, if I take out all the editorial mistakes, this issue for number one of variance number one would have been an 8 out of 10. But because of all the editorial stuff, I give it a 4 out of 10. It's just so it's almost like a good story being brought down by amateurs editing. That's how messed up it is. And to be quite honest, Gail Simone deserved better than that. To be quite honest. But that's my opinion. I'm sticking with it.
Well, we're going to bring Clyde, who we lost temporarily. There we go.
Does it tell who the editor was, Joe?
Yeah.
Brian K. Morris.
No.
That means all the words are spelled right.
And commas are
We
right.
have
That's right, my God.
Tom Venerbrook,
Brevoort?
Brevoort, yep, Tom Brevoort, and then this is a CB Sabalis, editor-in-chief.
Okay.
I wonder if they put the ads in after it's been edited.
Well,
like maybe they assemble it after the editing. They don't. Personally, I would. If I was running Marvel, I'd let everybody know, the writing team, all this, and the artist team. This is where the ads are going to be. They're going to be these pages. Work your way around that, or if you need us to adjust them, we will.
Right.
Because even when I'm writing my stories, I try to end each scene on a odd number page, so when you turn the next page, a new scene's starting.
Right.
But I don't have ads.
Right. Well, the thing is, I know that back in the old days, back when everything was being printed in Sparta, Illinois, at World Color Press, the ads had to be put in a certain way. And because they were prepared, I think, before the body of the story was done. And it was they had to be clumped in one area. I don't remember what it was, but that's why you go through those old comics, the ad pages were almost, for that month, on the same page. Now, I'd be interested to see if every Marvel comic, the month that came out, because I know it's been out for a couple weeks, but if every page of the other comics mirrored that, which means they're doing it the old school way, whereas places like Scout and Ahoy and places, the newer companies, even Archie
Image
now
too, they shove them all in the back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm just wondering if there is a good reason why Marvel is doing that. And it could be, they're still doing it old school and letting the printer decide where the ads need to go. But, it's a whole nother world now with, digital and everything. So, no, I get that. I get that. That did interrupt the flow. And it read to me, not looking at the dialogue, it read like a Brian Michael Bendis book where everybody's just chat. There wasn't a whole lot going on. And seeing, Captain America on that last page, my first thought was, oh, great, we've got another toy coming out.
I don't think so. I haven't seen that one announced.
Well, not yet.
Yeah, I stay up with that stuff.
I know you do.
I think there's only been, since Hasbro got the Marvel Legends line back from Toy Biz, maybe one Jessica Jones figure? Maybe two? And I think one of them was the Daredevil series. That was a special 3-pack with Luke and Daredevil. It might have been. In like a cardboard subway car. It was cool, but I wouldn't go spend that kind of money on it. Since now they're almost $30 a piece. I'm like, I can't do it. But I think there's only been like one other. They don't do many figures of her.
Well, they don't do many female.
No, Wolverine.
Oh God. Oh yeah. Well, the old school of thought was that female characters in toys don't sell. So even though I don't think that's the case anymore.
Well, the problem was they were always that was their mentality. Then they always short packed them in a case. You might get one, and or two, and they were gone right away. Nobody knew what the sales would be if they had more.
Exactly. Nobody's ready to throw the dice on that one, so which is a shame. We got comments, of course, and Carl Witzman has a screenshot of Joe in pain. Done. I'll be getting that soon. And Donna's going, throw that book, throw that book. And Dan has a good suggestion. Roll a D4 if you can't make up your mind. And yes, everything. We're all living in BKM world. Yeah. It's right next door to Spice World. And okay, story decent, but layout sucks. Phil Noto is a good artist, but not a real, I don't think, a dynamic artist like a Neil Adams, of course, or the Buscema brothers. Oh, and story sucks too. There we go. It did seem rather slow-paced. I agree with you, Dan. And does seem pretty random on the ads. It says Carl Witzman, and lots of chatter from what I can see. Yeah, and that was the one thing that turned me off about the original Jessica Jones Alias. Yak, 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 yak. You know, it's like, I like...
We read comics for pictures, damn it.
That's right.
If we want prose, we'll buy a book.
And that's what might start me on my other rant because
right.
you know how I am. It's like, oh, I read it for the pictures. Then go buy an art book. Go buy an art book. Go buy the best of such and such art. Storytelling has to have some dialogue, and you just have to find that perfect marriage.
That's it. I want that union. I want that union.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, well. Ick. Anyway, if you want a good comic, Fiona said hi, Papa.
Hey, Fiona.
And folks, if you want to read a good comic book instead of, I put the wrong one in there. Hold on.
Wait, Mr. Spook?
No. I got another one. I thought
you said a good comic book.
There.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mr. Spook is a fine, super fine comic, but I'm trying to get people to pledge to this one.
Hey, we don't know how good it is yet. You haven't read it.
That's true.
It'll get better once he reads it.
Yeah, it gets a lot better after I read it, of course.
Maybe we'll have no words. It'll be my silent issue.
I'll have plenty of comments on that one, trust me.
That would be a heck of a tease, a silent issue.
There you go. No, that's the cover to Pulp Reality #4. So, or you can try it. Keep an eye on Amazon. We'll let you know when that comes out. Trust me. So, I guess it's my turn before we let Clyde take us home here. So anyway, here we go. It was a good week for books again, and yes, that is the iPad there. And I've got a couple things in there. But anyway, Retro Fan came in this week. And if you aren't getting this magazine, you're really missing out on some stuff. Michael Urey does this. And it's a fantastic magazine. I can't remember. Can't remember how often it comes out. Oh, it's like a bi-monthly now. It used to be quarterly. But it's got a thing on the old Flash Gordon cartoons, obviously. The Prisoner with Patrick McGowan. The Beatles cartoons from the 60s, 50s Mania by Michael Urey, regular columns by Andy Mangles, Will Murray, Scott Saveda, Scott Shaw, Mark Vogel, and a thing on color forms, which is really, really kind of cool. I didn't realize they had this many out, but lots of super, super things. The story on the Beatles' Yellow Submarine animated film. And Shadow Chasers. I forgot this show was on. But anyway, there's a wealth of great material in here. So check it out. This is available not only at your local comic shop, but also at Barnes & Noble and Books A Million, if you have one near you. 10 out of 10 each and every time. Michael,
they don't still make color forms, do they?
I saw some at Dollar Tree recently.
Huh.
So I don't know if they're they're licensing it now or not. But it was, I used to have a bunch of them when I was younger. They were great.
Color forms and shrinky dinks.
Yeah. Excellent stuff. Excellent. And 3 issues away from issue 300 of Knights of the Dinner Table. And again, this is a personal fave of mine about gaming and everything. But what's kind of fun in this one, and it had a bad reason for happening, the cartoonist, the author and artist, Jolly Blackburn, has been dealing with cancer, and I didn't realize this. And he had part of his kidney shaved off because that's where it was, and then he finally, lost the kidney. Well, he still got one more. But anyway, they maintain the visit from the super gamer that's coming in, and poor Weird Pete is getting his income streams cut out from under him. But what happened was Jolly took some of his old ideas that never got realized, and he's been teasing some of them along throughout the years, and he finally filled them out. For fan request time. And of course there's the usual articles and everything. And then there's something kind of cute. It's called Tales from the Dice Bag. Where the dice are actually talking to each other. So this is a fun, if you're into, this is a real niche book. And for somebody like me, this is a 9.5 out of 10 usually. And I'm giving it that this time, but you got to be a gamer to really appreciate it, I think. And on Clyde's recommendation, I got Minor Threats issues 1 and 2. I haven't read them both yet, but I lucked into getting the Mike Mignola cover. Brian Rodman, if you're watching, it's okay to be jealous. So anyway, this looks real good. I'm enjoying it. And then let's see. Let's go to here because we're kind of working up stuff. And Clyde, did this come out this week or last?
Oh, I didn't see it. I think it's my guy's going to get it next week. I didn't see it this week.
I got it through Comixology.
Aha.
Yes, so that was one of them. It looked good. I have not read it yet either. But what we did get was, of course, hopefully this is it. I should have put them all to the first page. Love Everlasting, number 3 by Tom King. Great story.
It had me going. It had me going all the way to the springing the trap.
Yeah, me
part
too.
Of the story.
It's all in one. You don't need the previous issues to read it. 10 out of 10. It's really, really good stuff. And then Batman, not Batman and Robin. No. This is Batman versus Robin. If this thing will come up here. Oh yes, it will. There we go. And in this one, Robin seems to be under the thrall of somebody. We find out who. It is, spoiler alert, plug your ears for the next 5 seconds, Ra's al Ghul's mother. And we learn...
Oh, Ra's al Ghul's mother?
His mother. His mom.
Damn, she's got to be old.
Well, yeah, but the reason why she doesn't look it is revealed in this issue as we learn something about the Lazarus Pits. And just a word to the wise... The Batman vs. Robin storyline is going to become the next big event following Dark Crisis. Okay, and it's going to feature the supernatural characters. But in this one, the story is by Mark Waid, and they bring back characters like Tanark and Arian of Atlantis. Mark Waid has a virtually encyclopedic knowledge of continuity, especially DC, and he uses it to good form in here. And Mahmoud Asrar is the artist, does a sensational job, and we see Clarion the Witch Boy and Ragman, and also former Birds of Prey character there on her knees on the floor. Just all kinds of cool things, even references to old Justice League stories, but it's all done in a way that you'll be able to keep up with it. Excellent. Oh yeah, and last issue, they brought back someone else, Alfred. So anyway, that's Batman vs. Robin number 2. I got a lot of good reading out of this one, a couple times actually, so I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. It's definitely worth your time to get it. And then this one, I've just started reading this, but I'm about halfway through it. But it's been really good so far. And it's DC's Terrors Through Time. And it is a time travel thing, but with a kind of supernatural bent to it in time for Halloween. And the Super Son story is really charming. It's really good. Not written by Peter Tomasi for once, but Paul Levitt's former publisher returns to the Phantom Stranger. Really good story. Shawley Fish, who writes the Batman, younger Batman reader books, like Batman Mystery or the Batman and Scooby-Doo mysteries. Excellent writer. Gotham City Sirens, Swamp Thing. Justice Society of America, The Green Lanterns, Etrigan, and Batman and Deadman, with art by Kelly Jones. There's just a lot to like here, and I have not read it yet, so I'm not going to give it a number yet, but looks definitely worth picking up. Then Dark Crisis, World Without a Justice League, one of the better stories actually. As Black Canary is in the backup and Green Arrow's in the front. Lots of little tidbits for Green Arrow fans through the decades, and a really interesting ending, I thought. Even though the parent comic, Dark Crisis, has gone beyond this point. Next month will be Batman. I think that's going to finish up the series. This is a 9.5 out of 10. Really good stuff. And real fast, of course, Superman, Son of Kal-El. And there's a spoiler here. I'm not going to reveal what the big spoiler is, but it's somebody coming back. They're real subtle about it.
Is it Batman?
Oh, damn it, Clyde! But they're not as bad as Joe's book about the ad placement. But there's some really good stuff in here. Now, just to let you know, before you read it from any other source, Superman Son of Kal-El will be ending its run on issue 18. 2 more issues from now. But there'll be a 6-issue limited series, basically The Adventures of Superman, starring John Kent. And that's going to be a 6-issue series. It sounds like they're going the Wonder Woman route and bringing these books out whenever they have a good story. But Tom Taylor, of course, has been writing some great stuff for here. Really enjoying it. And this was a 10 out of 10. Really, really interesting material. And that's all I've got this week. So, but anyway, go to your local comic shop and buy some stuff, or go to Comixology and pick up some stuff, because there's some really cool
Or
things.
Kickstarter.
Or a Kickstarter. Yes, exactly. Go to Kickstarter, where you can check out the... I'm going through all the rants here, the requests for rants.
Where you never have ads in my book.
That's right. And if you want to test how truthful I'm being, go to that Kickstarter page. Listen, let's make this more effective. Go to this Kickstarter page right here, and please pledge generously. Eric Hawkins is drawing a new spin-off book from the Zombieful World of Oz, and it's a corker, as they say. It looks really good so far, and not just because of all the guest stars in it. But anyway, that's what we got here, and let's see, do we have any new comments before we let Clyde take the floor and all the dirt on it? And, Jennifer Hawkins says, hello, sorry wasn't ignoring, but cleaning with it playing in my pocket. If Eric disappears for a reason, we know why now. And disappointed
in a certain room. The worst thing you could say.
Yeah, on any other show but this one, where we spent how many minutes talking about my giant-sized man thing. And by the way, it's in a plastic case now too. But anyway, Donna Carlene.
Ouch.
Well, it hurt when it was sealed at first, but it preserves it forever. And Donna Carlene is disappointed there was no book throwing, Joe.
It's not
Well, Joe liked the book. You just didn't like the editing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
when they reprint in the trade, it'll be better.
The story is okay. I'm not saying it's the greatest story ever. It's just the ending is just really, really, really bad, and it brought everything else down.
Mm-hmm. We got that impression. And Jennifer Hawkins says, yes, the grandkids have some. We bought them. And sorry, my mind isn't in the gutter. It's easy enough to come around. Mine wasn't either, and look how happy I am now. Anyway, so keep the comments coming. We can use them. And something else we can use are the great reviews of Mr. Clyde Hall, the gold standard here. Clyde, take it away, sir.
Coming from the Vibranium standard, that is high praise.
Well, at least you have one. At least you have a standard, unlike me.
So this week, and Salem was supposed to come out this week, but after you said that, I was like, I didn't see it on the rack. I may have just missed it. I may have to go back and check. But I don't think my LCS got it. And sometimes he's a week behind on some of the lesser, the smaller company titles. So I will.
Same with mine.
I'll look next week. But I do want to pick it up just because it's cat centric. Salem doesn't give, it's sort of like getting a crypto comic or a Legion of Super Pets comic.
Yeah.
I just kind of gotta. So I can't help myself. It's a weakness.
Don't feel lonely.
Yeah. My previews for things coming up next week, if you want a heads up of things I'm going to be getting. Marvel has got Midnight Suns #2, which the first issue didn't sell me enough to really want to pick it up, except they have Doctor Doom making an appearance. And I don't know how long it's been since I read a Doctor Doom story. So I am just invested enough in this new X-Mystics series to stick with it one more issue and see what they're going to do with Doom. So I'm in. Miracle Man, the Silver Age #1. BKM's review of Miracle Man Zero won me over, and I bought that this week. And he was absolutely right. I want to see how the missing member of the Miracle family, young Miracle Man, handles being yanked from 1963 and thrust into the 21st century future that he never made. So I'll be picking that up based on Brian's initial recommendation. Moon Knight #16 is a story centering on Hunter's Moon and how he handles being the second fist of Khonshu. I have enjoyed this series, and the good stuff's still coming, so I will continue to get it for a while. After being brought to the Mark Jake Stephen table by Eric Hawkins Reviews. And that's the most Marvel books I have picked up in a week since the 1980s.
Wow.
And they all start with M. So it's Marvel, I guess, next week. And I credit the CBS crew, including Joe D. McFee, because I'll tell you something, Joe. I started having them pull the variants for me because I saw it was in your list of. I didn't know you were going to rant on it, but I just like.
If you call them quickly, they can put it back on the rack. And it's appealing because in the Marvel books, there's not a chance of any Batman ads, no matter how badly the placement is in any of the Marvel books. But there's no Batman ads. We know that. So I think we can both do without those. However, and the reason I asked you about the editor, there was a moment in the Ant-Man 4 book this week, which was a great series, a great wind up to the series, and a different editor than the one you were talking about, Joe. But he did the same thing. There's this big reveal, and it's not just a reveal, but it's almost like the murderer is ... And I turn the page, and it looks like the Avengers have arrived. I mean, it looks close enough to what was going on that I'm like, well, how did... Then I figured out, no, it's an ad. I'm like, well, fine. So I turn another page, because usually it's a splash of 2 ads, and I don't see the murderer's name. It's a whole other part of the book. So I have to go back, and there, it's the second page, and it's been turned sideways. Wow.
And yeah, it's again, took me completely out of the story. It was the big reveal for the whole, and this has been an excellent series, but yeah, there's something going on. They need some editors at Marvel, some better ones. I'm thinking, because this is not the same guy or team. So next week for DC, Batman Superman World's Finest #8, because Mark Waid's stories in this title have been fun, and because I want to see what happens with Nova Boy. Boy Thunder, Superman's new sidekick. Nightwing #97, because after a major big bad has been dealt with, comes the time for some decisions between Nightwing and Batgirl, or more accurately, their secret identities. I care a lot more about those decisions than I did about will they finally tie the knot, and if so, is it just kink that we got from the Bruce Selena back and forths? And I want to see how it turns out. Image, Above Snakes #4. Actually, that came out this week. It was a little bit early, I guess, because a weirdo Western that isn't strictly stuck in its time period. It's as if the characters know that they're being judged by a future audience, us, and mostly they don't give a shiny tin star, but it makes for an interesting narrative style. public domain number 5.
Yay.
Yeah, with partial publishing rights now residing with the man who created the domain character, can he field a product that modern audiences will appreciate? Or will the big company, founded on his character and his work, outshine him with pools of young talent and industrial bucks for variant covers and all the glitzes? I really want to see how this plays out. Dark Horse has got Count Crowley, Amateur Midnight Monster Hunter number 4. I got to be honest, issue number 3 really dragged me down in my optimistic hopes for this miniseries. I don't know what's happening with the creative team, but I will get number 4 to see if it can recover for this finale. What happens when a fledgling monster hunter finds out that the vaunted ways to kill a vampire, like sunlight and crosses and holy water, are fake news produced by a centuries-old vampiric disinformation campaign? Improv, like Count Crowley's life depends on it, because in this case, it probably will. IDW will have True Cult number 3, or Tvul Kvult number 3, as it's spelled out. This zany fast food and deadly cult comic combo went a different route than I expected last issue, and now I can't wait to see how the secrets and the lies with a side of fries plays out as our main characters go into deep fat fryer in the red territory. So those are my picks for next week. This week I had a good week of comics. First of all, I got Thunder Agents. Yeah, this is a volume 1 archives, and I just love the way it's been reproduced here. This is beautiful stuff. Wallace Wood classic artwork.
Oh, yeah.
And the best part is, this is one of 6 that I got for nothing, because I was in the right place at the right time. It takes up some space on my bookshelf, but it's space. And if you knew how much limited space I have on my bookshelf, you would be like, "Ooh, really?" Yes, it's that good. There's a lot of these stories I haven't read. I've only read a handful over the years that I've managed to catch. So really looking forward to catching up on all the Thunder Agent goodness of Wallace Wood. Also, for $1 this week, I got the Superheroes Battle Super Gorillas DC special. Yeah, this is good stuff. I had a lot of the original comics of this, so, and for $1, it will find a home on my spin rack. But the main things, I also got DC's Terrors Through Time. And like most of the DC things, although this had some really good creative teams, they didn't give the stories a whole lot of room to breathe. They're pretty fast. There's a JSA story that's really good, but man, it's really clipped into short little bits. And they seemed rushed. Each one seems rushed because they didn't give very much time. I wish they'd have done one less story and given all of the creators a little more space. But it's kind of hit and miss, but for the most part, it's pretty good. But that's the thing I noticed the most was good artwork, good storytelling, not a lot of room to breathe. That would have helped, I think. But I don't think I enjoyed it as much as Brian K. Morris did, but still liked it. And it's got some great characters I haven't seen in a while. Deadman makes an appearance. So drawn by Kelly Jones. That's always a treat. So also from DC, the Batman Scooby-Doo Mysteries #1, which brings us the International Legion of Batman, I think it's called, that decide that they're going to become Batman Inc. based on Mystery Inc. This inspires them to become Batman Inc. from all the global Batman around the world. Charlie Fish, again, like Brian was talking about, he proves that nostalgia and fun characters can come in an all-ages comic book format. He's been proving it for years, but now he's got another format to try it after his long and successful run on the Scooby-Doo team-ups book. This one, this is from Image. It's Scotch McTiernan's Halloween Party. I didn't know anything about the character of Scotch McTiernan, but it's sort of like an Ash Williams, Lobo, Johnny Bravo Halloween take.
Interesting.
Thus, all of the cannabis on the back cover.
Can you own that in the state of Illinois? Oh yeah, you can. Indiana can't. That's
I
right.
could smoke this book if I wanted to, but yeah. However, imagine taking all the Halloween things you like and just slaying all those sacred hell cows and just making them into hell cow burgers. And it's all centered around an ET storyline treated like a predator storyline, basically. Inappropriate humor. It's a great black comedy take on the Halloween season. If you like that kind of, it's not terribly dark. It's more humorous. They don't get gory or anything like that. But he's one of those heroes that you go, oh, Ash Williams has competition. This guy has no more couth than he does. So,
Is that from the same creative team that did War on Weed?
let's see. It's Gary Dugan, Brian Potion, and Scott Koblish.
I can't remember their names. I have to look that up. I just saw the weed on the back. That's what made me think of it. I think that came from Image too.
And they do some interesting social commentaries about you have a whole bunch of twisted, malevolent spirits that are coming to Earth for Halloween, as they've always done, and they find that the place is so scary that they're not even having an effect on anybody anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and they asked Scotch McTiernan to help them get rid of all the pretenders out there that are making everybody afraid and let them reign supreme again. Love Everlasting is one of my favorite reads this week. Number 3. Just like Brian said, it just dives in, and I wasn't really sure what was happening because this reality bending, traversing heroine is starting to realize that she's reliving all these romantic stories, and yet she just went along with all this, and it has a really interesting twist about 75% of the way through that you go, oh, I didn't see that coming. So Ant-Man, the 4th issue, great series, except for the big reveal that has an ad right in the middle of it and made me miss it. But that's not the fault of the writing, the creative team. The writing and everything, top notch. A great way to celebrate. And they're going to do a Wasp series next year, I believe, celebrating her 60th anniversary. And I'm not sure it's the same creative team, but if it is, I will be on board for that too. May anyway. But what I picked for my read this week was The Approach. And this is really interesting. Halloween kind of fare. It's a horror comic from Boom Studios. I just from the teaser about it, I thought this looked like something that I would be interested in, and they did not disappoint. Let me show you some of the artwork here. We have a major winter storm rolling in to this small airport in what seems to be a small town. It reminds me of the airport where I live, which is quite small. It can handle some fairly big planes, but they don't do it on a regular basis. So you have this terribly inclement weather, people being called in, and they have a airplane that's being diverted to them because of blizzard conditions in the city. So they've got a small jet coming in with passengers. And then out of the blue, a single prop engine plane comes barreling in out of the blizzard also. Unannounced, just shows up. And with expected kinds of results. And they try to save one of the people that are still alive after this plane hits the ground. But they're less than successful. And later on, where the body has been placed seems to have been vacated. Yes. So, The Approach. It's number 1 of a 5-issue limited series. It's from Boom Studios, $4.99 cover price. It's written by Jeremy Hahn and Jason A. Hurley. The art is by Jesus Hervis and Leah Caballero. The colors are by Brett Weldeley and letters by Ed Dukeshire. Maturity level is rated 13 or older. While I write for various sites, this is my own independent feature and it should not be considered representing any views of those sites. The premier of the approach concerns mundane, wintry circumstances. 2 fire barn workers at a small municipal airport get the call. Come in early, the weather's turning nasty, and the nearest major airport's diverting a passenger plane to us. For places that have large snowfalls, it's the kind of situation that's planned for, and with proper forethought, these things are kept from turning inconvenience into disasters. It's sort of like calling out the snowplows for roadways earlier rather than later so that the crews don't have to start by being already behind in the clearing process for the streets. And there's a steadfast way of handling these infrequent but dicey circumstances that experienced emergency services folks, from 911 operators to EMS crews to air traffic controllers, handle behind the scenes with practical and practiced efficiency. Writers Jeremy Hahn and Jason A. Hurley opened their horror miniseries, The Approach, with keen insights into how such crews think, how they talk, how they work, and how they function. Old hand firefighter Mac and his junior partner Abby get pulled in on overtime to work the worst winter weather that their report's seen in about a half dozen years. Small passenger service jet crew and their passenger manifest will be calling this modest terminal home for a few days as everyone gets socked in and stranded, having to make do until the skies clear. It's the unscheduled arrival that the tower announces after this passenger plane sets down safely that thrusts everything into uncommon territory. Just as they declare their facility is also going to be shutting down due to increasingly hazardous conditions, a single-engine prop plane comes barreling through the blizzard and crashes at the end of a runway. Mac and Abigail pull a survivor from the wreckage before fire drives them back and before they can reach a second passenger and before the plane explodes. But even their rescued pilot does not survive his injuries long. Then their friend in the tower, Jake, finds that the tail number of the crashed plane checks to a flight that is overdue. It's been missing for 27 years. And just like that, one of the flight attendants looking for blankets discovers something is moving in the temporary morgue. The good. This issue is mostly about character building and setting up the isolation and vulnerability that a weather-related emergency brings with it. And the creative team does this very, very well. The profiling snapshots we get of Mac and Abby's support team is enough for establishing them without bogging down the plot. Hahn and Hurley pen a very realistic setup for the small, self-sufficient facility and the staff that is prepared for handling emergency situations. Either they have done their research homework, or they have worked in the arena, or maybe they've had family that worked in the public safety venue. These folks, from the security guard wannabe cop, to Ricky the terminal manager, to mobility challenged Jake manning the tower all by his lonesome, are professionals in the art of coping. Each understands their role in keeping things running smoothly as possible without power, except maybe by emergency generators for the basic needs, maybe without running water if the temps dip too low, without expectation of reinforcements or outside assistance, and without benefit of incoming supplies. It's truly an art form in survival that our folks a few generations back were masters of, but which many modern people are unequipped for. And even those better suited to handle it nowadays, folks like Mac and Abby, are going to be challenged by this kind of a situation. And in this case, not only by the blizzard, not only because it's cut them off from the world, however temporarily, but because they're also responsible for the safety of their temporary guests as well as other, no matter what this time displaced plane just dumped in their collective laps. The creative team also provides us with a hapless hero in Mac. And this has real life echoes for me because some of the best can do in a crisis people I've known, they're not always great at navigating their personal lives. The quiet and lonely introduction scene that artists Jesus Hervas and Leah Caballero provide for Mac, they're tailored for this kind of protagonist. He is professional. He is pragmatic. He is seasoned. He's living alone in a trailer park at an age past his prime. And that's kind of what he has to show for all that he's done in his professional life. These elements are applied collectively in building realism until that last page where a fantastic shock is delivered. And that's a favorite horror story trope of mine. When you build the world that seems completely reasonable until it's not. You introduce the fantastic element that doesn't fit there. I love those kind of stories. Letterer Ed Dukeshire is a journeyman artist, especially suited for this kind of tale. As you saw from the crash of the plane at the end of the runway, his dialogue renderings are crisp. His sound effect fonts are subtly effective. He doesn't take up too much space, but every sound that needs a sound effect font gets one, and it's very well done. I especially liked the small single engine plane coming in 27 years late, doing a big doom at the end of the runway. The bad. The overall cover variety, the variants and the regular, they felt very subtle as well, but for a premiere issue, that may not be a draw for all buyers. I kind of felt meh. This is not a horrible cover, but it's this is by one of the people I've seen do some really good work, Francisco Francavilla, and I don't know. I don't think I would have picked it up if I hadn't read the blurb on it already. And the others are also kind of, for a premiere issue, I felt it was a little underwhelming. Some readers could also see the story so far as maybe a supernatural variation on John Carpenter's The Thing. But for me, the surface comparisons would be premature because we don't know yet enough about what these snowbound travelers and workers are facing. We just have a similar frozen setting, so you could just as easily say that this is a duplicate of Die Hard 2 based on that criteria. And I'm pretty sure it's not. So the takeaway. What the approach number one is a well-crafted tale of people trapped in the midst of a winter storm with something. It may be a middle-of-the-night bumper, it could be an airborne Flying Dutchman, or it may be some other tentacled old one that mankind was not meant to know and remain sane, at least, at the same time. The opener sets the mood for a chilling continuation in number 2, one that has nothing to do with the weather, and I'm getting a round-trip ticket for this title. So in the meantime, I'm going to clear this modest horror miniseries for a landing on Runway Boo with a score of 7.5 out of 10.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah. It's not always over the top of some of the things I've reviewed lately, but it's very satisfying to me.
Yeah, and I can't remember if I saw it at my local comic shop either, but you're right. That cover would not have...
And there's one that has the plane coming in, like a single-engine plane, from straight on. And there's a couple of others, but none of them I saw really made me go, ooh. I mean, if they were all on the shelf together, I would go, I'll take that one.
Yeah. Well, we have some comments here. Jennifer Hawkins says, color forms is what I was talking about. That's what we thought you were. Anyway, and Carl Wisman, Salem is a cat after my own heart. I understand that. Yep. And Dan Hallfield has to go backstage for Stupid O'Clock. Great show. Good night. Good night to you, Dan. Have a good show, as I know you will, at Stupid O'Clock, 9 p.m. on Thursday evenings Eastern Time, and on Saturday nights at 11. And stay tuned for Last Man Standing if Dan Holofield's still awake then. And Carl is on his way, and so is Donna. And all this talk about a winter storm makes me feel cold, and the temperature is dropping in our area.
Yep.
So
yeah, it is.
Crap. And neat, says Donna Curley. And wow, sounds interesting even if cold. No, how many great horror stories have taken place like in cold areas,
Yeah.
So it's
30 days of night.
My question is why horror? Because to me it sounds more like, I'm not certain if you guys have watched the movie Millennium.
Of what?
Millennium.
Yeah, that's true. It could be more sci-fi, but I get the feeling they promoted it as a supernatural thing, so I think whatever has come in is going to fall into that category. And yeah, there's not a lot of horror in this issue until the last page or so. Some horrific scenes, but we don't know enough for sure to know if it's that kind of a monster or not. But and one of the things too that got me about this is I don't know that Boom is promoting it very big either. I had to look around to find. It seems like it's sort of on the lower end of their radar for the season. So, but the real, just like Kolchak the Night Stalker, the TV movie, and the Night Strangler, where you have a fairly realistic setting of people that you can believe were real people, is all of a sudden confronted with something that is completely fantastic and unrealistic and horrific. I've always loved that formula, and they seem to hit that pitch perfect tone, even though the issue does not have a lot of action except for plane crashes. That's pretty action oriented, but I mean, it's not a big battle against monsters to the first issue, but I think it'll be a slow burn up to some really. And you got a whole lot of victims in a place they can't get out of. That's never a good sign. So,
yeah. Cool. That sounds good. Oh, well, cold actually. But,
and the cold. That's interesting because as I was reading this, I remembered I used that isolation of bad weather or the cold climates far north, in storms, in my chill role-playing games enough that finally my players went, "We don't want any more cold weather." And the next story was a Christmas story, and I'm like, "Well, buckle up because you're going to get one more."
Christmas in Florida, right?
No.
Here comes the hurricane. Here comes the tornado hurricane.
It couldn't be because part of the storyline was inclement weather that was going to keep them socked in for a while.
Ah, okay.
So, but it can be overused, but it is an effective way of cutting people off from easy access to backup and communications and everything. So.
Yeah. Well, and after all, your players were in a game called Chill. So,
there you go.
Duh. And Donna's taking her leave. See y'all next week. See you soon, Donna. Mwah.
Bye.
Great to see you, hon. Anyway, thank you, Clyde. Thank you. That was cool. Yay. So, do we have anything to talk about? Anything on our minds?
Alan Moore retired.
Again.
He took a parting shot, though, at everybody in general.
Everybody.
I saw that, yeah.
Comic industry sucks. I'm retiring.
Yeah.
That's right, my God.
And it's probably your fault.
Yeah, I'm a respectable wizard now, so I'm vanishing. So, yeah. Yeah, way to, pee in the punch bowl, Alan.
Well, hey, it's better than Frank Miller, so I don't know.
Yeah, but Frank, we're not rid of him yet. He's still got his imprint to put out. So.
That's why his is better than Frank Miller's.
He also
there you go.
said what comics aren't for adults or something like that. And
Yeah.
And then something about
that's why we partially his fault too.
They lead to fascism.
Yeah. Well, plus he also was talking about that's why we've got certain tyrannical characters in our politics. So I don't know about that. I think that's giving comics way too much credit.
No spoilers, but the finale of the She-Hulk miniseries is one of the strangest MCU products I have ever witnessed. I don't know that it's, and I'm going to have to go back and watch it again. I can't decide if that's a good variation or a bad one yet, but
I enjoyed the Kevin talk. I thought that was funny, but it was a mess.
Yeah.
Just all over the place.
It was. Yeah.
Joe, have you watched episode 8 yet? That was a good episode. That was probably the best episode they had, I think. But...
Joe's not commenting.
No.
Just saving it for Saturday night at 10 o'clock Eastern.
I have gotten to the point where they're not writing that type of show for me, a actual She-Hulk comic book reading fan.
Right.
So when I take that out of the equation, I can sit back and watch this stuff and enjoy it and laugh at it.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's popcorn watching time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how people want to break it down and always want to equate it back, you're not going to like anything.
I'll say episode 9, the Spinal, they tried to pull more from the comics on how it was written, but it just didn't really work too well. The opening was fun.
Better than what people thought they did. Because, again, it depends on which run of She-Hulk that you actually are a part of.
Very true.
If you were there during the Dan Slott's 2 runs, this is how they were working it.
Yeah.
But they didn't use Dan Slott as a, if I could say, a point of reference per se. The style of storytelling that they kind of hinted, using that type of storytelling, but a lot of stuff that went on, you saw a lot of stuff mentioned by David Anthony Kraft, a lot of stuff by Soleil, a lot, all of this whole thing about PTSD and the effects of, hey, we got to get rid of her. She's, we don't need another Hulk. All this stuff is more modern based stories, which is weird. And I'm sitting back, it's like my comic book fandom is like cringing at this point because they're not telling a story. They're glossing over a lot of this stuff,
right,
just to get a comedic episode. So when I pull that person back and look at it, it's like, you know what? The average TV viewer is not going to look at that.
No, they're not. They're not.
Here's something that's impressive, I think, though. Okay, so as She-Hulk, as the series premiered and began to show, you had a lot of people, a lot of fans that got online and they felt threatened by this kind of a heroine and this kind of a MCU show that had not been done before. And, a year and a half to 2 years ago, the writers knew exactly how people were going to react, at least some of the fan population, and design bad guys. I mean, it's pretty prophetic when you look at it from that perspective of, you see somebody say something, make headlines one week, and it was in the show the next week, and they're not writing it in that quick. They planned this. They knew ahead of time the sort of reception it would get. That was an interesting writing feat, I thought. I don't know if it's good or bad, but they know their audience at least a part of their audience to a degree, don't they?
They knew the audience that they wanted to go after.
Yep.
And they catered to those who they made fun of those who would be naysayers.
There you go.
And that was the key thing, because one thing that I still cringe about, but I appreciate how they're trying to do this rivalry, which was with Titania.
Yeah.
I don't like the way that she looks. I don't like the fact that she's a influencer. It's like, no, none of that stuff jives with me. But the way that they're setting up their rivalry, I'm like, this is going to be interesting if they would have worked it more so, throughout the whole entire series.
Well, they pretty much wasted her.
She just shows up a couple times. It's kind of one episode focuses on her a bit. That's fun, but only in a courtroom kind of thing.
She just happened to show up at it's like one episode. It's like, oh, Titania, takes her to court over the She-Hulk name. It's like, yeah, that's not what we want with this whole rivalry. The wedding, that was priceless. That was priceless. I'm like, somebody did their homework. That will work. That works, but it's not what I would have wanted, but it works.
Yep.
I mean, those are the types of things that I'm looking at. It's like the whole thing with the Abomination. When they introduced him and the whole fact that she had to represent him, it's like, oh, this is not going to work. And then we finally get to the episode. He finally free. He's on his compound and whatnot. They're up here worried that he's doing something that he shouldn't have. And he's just out there chilling. It's like, oh, yeah, I just happened to be by a microwave and my ankle bracelet just went. And the whole thing about the, the whole search for Jennifer just being Jennifer. I was like, this works. Why are people complaining about this? This actually works if you ever read a Dan Slott She-Hulk. This stuff does work that way. Everything's not going to be Hulk smash type deal. And then when they gave you Hulk smash, it's like, you don't know what to make of it. That's why I think of that last episode. That last episode was everything that Bruce tried to tell her coming back to bite her in the end. It's like, you got angry. You got angry beyond belief. But the thing about it is that the one thing that I can fault the writers for is Mallory's response when they first saw what Intelligentsia was writing about her. Instead of telling Jennifer about it to make her prepared for that, it's like, no, she's happy. Let's leave it alone. The less she knows, the better off she is. The first time she gets confronted with that, flies off the handle. Everybody's now afraid of her because, again, cousin don't have control like that half of the time. She's been up under control. This is the first time that she had a real fit of rage and anger out of something that she can't control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The nostalgic opening of episode 9, that was priceless. I really like that.
Yeah, but they missed the ending. They could have done that sad music at the ending.
I thought about that, but then they had a different kind of rap to it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is that where she puts her purse over her shoulder and her coat and walks away into the sunset?
Yeah, they should have.
It's like they should have ended it with like after all the things hit her and she's standing there and it's like she realized she messed up and they take her to custody and go like Eric said.
Yeah.
But apparently, the only thing that makes her happy is tapping Matt Murdock, though.
His walk of shame was embarrassing. That walk of shame. It's like the secretary comes walking up. Matt Murdock is there in the brown and yellow mustard suit. She looks at him. He looks at her, and he keeps on going.
Here's the thing, though. Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
No, I'm just saying, it's like, she's like, I'm not going to mention this, but there's a guy with a devil suit. Yeah, I hit that. The reaction was like, oh, okay.
Oh, you're walking. Yeah, okay. Here's the thing, though. I think back, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think back to the days of, things like Mr. Terrific and Captain Nice, and, where no superhero shows can be taken to any degree of seriousness. It was all camp. And, we now live in a world where you can have shows that are not for you, like Joe says, we were not the target audience for She-Hulk, but we can still enjoy it. And I have friends that have enjoyed it so much I've enjoyed watching them enjoy it, as well as enjoying some of the humor of it. At the same time, the same company brings out Werewolf by Night. It's almost like fan service for monster kids in our generation. Right. So we have an embarrassment of riches as far as variety goes. And if it's not all, our cup of tea, so what? It's somebody's, and I'm sure Disney Marvel is not going to leave any dollar unturned of any audience that they can, write for. It seems what Phase 4 is kind of, I think that's the goal. It seems like it anyway. But
when we were kids, we had nothing.
Yeah, or when we watched something
movie-wise, TV. Well, you had the Incredible Hulk on TV.
Yeah,
but I was watching. Oh, I always forget this until I see someone bring it up. I think it was Screen Crush again. Or it might have been where they changed Bruce's name to David.
Right.
Because Bruce seemed too gay.
Right.
On the TV show. But no one told Batman that.
Yeah. You tell Mr. Wayne he's a real gay as soon as he gets out of bed with Grayson. But no, back in the day, I don't know about anybody else, but I watched Super Friends. The first couple seasons I watched through gritted teeth because I was older than the demographic it was intended for, and Wonder Woman looked and sounded like a guy in those things. Remind me of the old Clerks cartoon where every time one of the clerks slept with a woman, suddenly her voice changed to that of a man's. But you watch that stuff because that's all we had. We had, especially like in the 60s where we'd gone through things like Space Ghost and the Superman cartoons, the Filmation Aquaman, and things like that. And then you go to like the first couple seasons of Super Friends. Then you go to TV where, yeah, Spider-Man was close. It came as close as it could. Doctor Strange was pretty good. Hulk was really good. And then you had Captain America.
Wonder Woman.
Well, Wonder Woman, yeah, that was a blessed exception. Because that was so good. That was perfect. And even the Kathy, but you had to get through the Kathy Lee Crosby version
not the
first.
TV movie. The TV show series, and not the TV movie.
Well,
no Kathy Lee Crosby.
Oh, I like Kathy Lee.
I cannot get past that rainbow sludge wall that they had in the speedboat scene. It's like no. It has nothing to do with Kathy. Kathy Lee Crosby did what Kathy Lee Crosby does.
Yeah,
it's just parts of that movie just doesn't make sense.
No.
But there were some great performers. You had Ricardo Montalban, who can do no wrong as far as I'm concerned, and the scene where he's in that little dinghy. And Andrew Prine stumbles and falls in the water, and he's splashing around going, I can't swim. And, there's Ricardo Montalban just looking straight ahead, paddling ever so calmly, going, oh, really? That's interesting.
But that's classic villain.
Yeah, that's perfect. Now, now, the guy who played Wonder Woman's, her Steve Trevor, was an actor named Kaz Garris. I was a huge fan of his because he had done a series in Great Britain called Strange Report about an investigator named Adam Strange, no relation to the DC character, who drove around. His car was a London taxi cab. And every week, be somebody trying to flag him down and after he just goes speeding by. But he was a terrific Steve Trevor. And he is also in a classic episode of the Streets of San Francisco with Michael Douglas, our Ant-Man now, where he played a deaf guy who got out of his trial. His trial was declared a mistrial because they read him his rights. They read him his Mirandas, but he was deaf. He couldn't hear the Miranda rights. So he didn't have all the information about self-incrimination. And at the end, what they made him do was read a card. And, do you acknowledge, and it said at the bottom, do you acknowledge this? And he had to, shake his head, nod his head. And that changed law enforcement, actually. I found out. That they've, realized, oh, crap, we left a loophole. And that's why a lot of them have cards now. And either read it from that so they get the wording right, or they let the person read it with them. So a little bit of history there. But yeah, I thought Kaz Garris was great. Ricardo Montalban was great.
I didn't like anything with Themyscira and how they handled.
Well, that was before Themyscira, though. That was before.
All the stuff before but when they got to Themyscira, it's just like the way that they handled Themyscira and the Amazons were just like, no, stop.
I don't know. I love the first season of Wonder Woman when it was back in
World
War
War movie.
I.
I'm talking about the movie. The movie. Not the TV series, the TV movie, the Kathy Lee Crosby movie.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't a real fan of that either.
Yeah. It was awful.
I'm thinking I never saw that.
It wasn't bad. And one of the models for The Price is Right at the time, Anitra Ford, was in it. Played the
yes, she
the big
was.
Bad. Yes, she was.
Huzzah! Yeah.
Oh, hey, yeah.
But then Linda Carter.
That's right. Again, I can't really say that, but yeah, that's early 70s.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's like I said, that's what we had. That's what we had to deal with.
What was one of the original models from the 1972 to 76 models.
Right. Yeah. Like with Janice Pennington.
It was like the very beginning of the Bob Barker era. It was like 1972.
Yeah.
But then we had the Linda Carter. I liked it when it was set in the 40s. I thought that was.
Yeah.
I watched only some of the CBS versions of the modern day, but the 1940s series spun out of the TV movie was really, really. It
was really good.
It was good. It was, as close to the comics as you could have gotten at the time.
Plus, it stood on its own 2 feet. You didn't need to know the comics to enjoy this show, and it was internally consistent.
Yep.
All I know is I was so young when it came on that it was the first time I started feeling things.
I just bet you did.
Oh. What? Let's watch it again next week.
Yeah, what are these stirrings in my loins? Why do my pants suddenly not fit right?
Linda
Yeah.
Carter and Daisy Duke.
So Eric, he had similarities with that, and every time Daisy Duke comes on the screen.
Yep.
Ditto.
I didn't know what was going on, but I was happy about it.
Hence he discovered his giant-sized man thing.
We have had a lot of crappy stuff building up to what we're getting nowadays.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
You got David Hasselhoff as Nick Fury.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Which
my
was good
goodness.
casting.
Dolph
It was
Lundgren
good.
as the Punisher.
Oh, now I hate that movie. I totally hate that movie. And I just seen him in Rocky 4, where he plays a robot. I mean, a Russian boxer. And then he goes into this, and I'm like, I never want to see another Dolph Lundgren movie again. Well, after that one, after The Punisher, he started acting. Mm-hmm. And I actually am a fan of his now. But I hated The Punisher movie because all you had was that little skull on the dagger he used, and that was the only thing that made it The Punisher. It's like, why bother?
It was a waste of Lou Gossett Jr., to be quite honest.
Yes! Yes, he's another actor. I would watch anything Lou Gossett Jr. was in. He was so good. But that was terrible. But you had like Superman the movie, but that was an exception. And Superman the sequel was pretty good too. But you didn't really have a great movie till you got to Tim Burton's Batman.
Because you had the
and even that had flaws.
You had the Supergirl stinker too in between.
Oh no, yeah, that's true. She was good, but the script could have been a lot better. And Faye Dunaway and Brenda Vaccaro were embarrassing in that thing.
And the only series that I stay mad at because it got canceled before it reached its pinnacle and it would have made that network money, and it was The Flash. The Flash.
Oh, yeah.
CBS Flash.
That was super. That was so good.
Going to be the epic thing, but I believe that the budget was too much for them.
Yeah, yeah.
But they were about to get ready to see a viewing boom.
Mm-hmm.
I think they would have if they had stuck with it. If they had stuck with it. Because I remember when Hill Street Blues came out on NBC, the ratings for that were in the toilet. But NBC said, we've got something good here. We're going to give it one more year. And that's when the audience found it. And I think The Flash would have been right. And the way that CBS treated The Flash towards the end of its run, where you didn't know it when it was on.
No, it was hopscotch all over the board.
Yeah.
As far as scheduling.
Yeah,
they said that same thing with Cheers.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the time slot, it was dead last.
Mm-hmm.
They made a couple of tweaks. They put it on Thursdays after, what was it? I forgot what was the original NBC Thursday night, because it was Cosby Show. This was before. This was before
Cosby Show. Cheers was on it.
That was on the second half of the second half. At 7, it was Cosby Show. I forgot what was on after Cosby Show.
Was it Another World?
Then it was Cheers. No, that came later.
Night Court.
Right. Yeah,
so
it was a solid Thursday night comedy block.
At 8:30 was Cheers the Night Court, but it was like the Cosby Show, something else before A Different World, because A Different World came out because they were about to get ready to fire
Lisa Bonet.
And
or being an angel heart.
Yeah, I like that movie.
But it was Cosby Show, something else, which I can't remember what on the original. It was that, something else, Cheers, and then Night Court.
Yeah, it was kind of like the classic CBS Saturday night block that was, All in the Family, Mary Tyler Moore is just, you just did not schedule anything you want to keep running. Well, I remember, I think the last time I saw an episode of The Flash, they put it on at Friday night, the very last show in prime time. And that's where you put shows that you just don't give a damn about anymore. That's where they put Star Trek
that's where
the
you
third
Trek,
season.
I was going to say, that's where you Trek shows, right down
yeah.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Family Ties.
Family Ties, thank you.
So
thank you.
Cosby Show, Family Ties, then Cheers, and then Night Court.
Yeah. And you also had all of the networks attempting to make something to either copy the $6 Million Man or comic books so they didn't have to buy the characters or license the characters, like Man from Atlantis.
Automan.
Automan, yeah.
Wait,
my God.
Automan was based upon what?
Nothing.
Nothing. They just, said, let's create a holographic
another
car with
great-
Desi Arnaz Jr. in it.
Another great series that really didn't get the play that it's supposed to. Greatest American Hero.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yep,
was
yep.
so good. That
Yep.
was really so good.
Still, that campy kind of, it's got to be a comedy, but it had some good moments, and it had some, the whole cast of the three main characters.
Mhm.
As an adult, I can look back, because as a comic book fan, as a young person, I liked the movie a lot, but I thought it was kind of schmaltzy as far as it didn't have the heroics that I wanted to see as a superhero fan. But now, as an older person looking back at it and seeing the formula, the chemistry
Mhm.
between those characters, I really, really enjoy it on a whole other level. And
But
Yeah.
they kept the main theme going.
Yeah.
And that is he doesn't know how to use the suit.
right,
Originally, the instructions got destroyed. They have no
Mhm.
clue whatsoever. The
Right.
aliens finally came back. They gave him a second set,
hmm
and he never read it.
He shrunk the suit. He found out he read a part and said he could shrink in the suit, so he shrunk down with the book in his hands. Then something like an animal scared him. He dropped the book. Then he went to normal size, but he
But the
couldn't find
book
the book
didn't.
because
Yeah.
it was microscopic. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, and I love that the show did develop because at first Ralph Hinckley could not fly worth a damn, but as things got on, he could fly better.
Got better.
He had more
Yeah.
control. But then we had the thing with the book, and it's like suddenly you've got like this suit can do anything if you could read the book, but you can't because you're an idiot. And even
Well,
the
he just-
supporting
well,
characters
the
like
book
Michael
had the
Pare
book
was
the
really
first time
good.
around.
Faye Grant,
Yeah, the book got destroyed the first time around.
Yeah,
They just thought like, oh, it's just some random book and this, that, and the other. He threw it away, and then
It slipped out of the case in the desert.
That's right. Slipped out of the case of the desert. Yeah,
So he just had the cover. He just had the holder for it, but it slipped out and they couldn't find it again.
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would have I think that show could have gone on for a number of years longer. Now I saw The Greatest American Heroine. It was okay.
It was a pilot.
mostly because Robert Culp was in it.
Right.
And I was a big I Spy fan
Mhm.
back in the day. So, but
I
you
did
see
watch
that?
House the other day with William Cat in it.
Yeah.
Oh
There
yeah,
you
that's
go.
right. Yeah,
And Carrie, the original Carrie movie,
yeah,
was in
yeah,
that.
yeah. I met him one time at the convention. Very nice fellow. Very nice.
He
fellow.
seems like a nice guy anytime I see him on an interview or something.
Yeah, yeah. And he's been trying over the years to try to get the Greatest American Hero revived.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, it's like I don't know about Connie Selica, but I think he may be the last person standing because Robert Culp is gone.
Right.
Stephen J. Cannell, who
Mhm.
produced and created the series, is gone.
Mhm.
But that'd be fun to
Yeah,
revisit.
he's getting up there. He might as well give it up too.
That's true. He's even older than I am. Good
Oh
God.
my goodness, the instructions being digital, and then you have to figure out a way to decrypt it and figure out all this other stuff. It's like you don't know how to use the suit because you don't have the right type of encryption or computer to actually read the instructions.
No, I could see him trying to go to Kinko's or someplace, or not Kinko's, God knows, that dates me, but like a big box office store and trying to photocopy the, or, scan the interior, and they're telling him, get off that's a copyright violation. Hollywood, call me. I'm ready. I'm ready for your revival now. But yeah, a lot of people just don't realize, that we get some stinkers every now and then.
Oh,
But
man,
we-
thinking about that.
We have come so far
Mm-hmm.
from the way things used to be,
Well, it's just
Bad,
totally acceptable to watch
live
that kind of
action
stuff now.
superheroes.
Oh God, oh Joe. please.
Oh!
Oh yeah.
Yay!
We did get Adam West and Burt Ward though.
Yeah,
Adam West without his
but
cowl
that
tucked
was-
in.
Yeah. Like
That was
what?
NBC's answer to try to revive like DC heroes in live action. It was just like, yeah, we got 2 specials out of it, so be it. It is what it is.
The first one was okay. The second one, I'm cringing. What was it? Ghetto Man, I think it was. You know, I'm not the demographic for that one, but you know, I'm thinking this is setting race relations back about 50 years. You know, and William Shallert as what is it, elderly man or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, and Gabriel. Although the casting on some of that, like Gabriel Dell as Sinestro.
Yeah,
he was one of the Bowery Boys back in the days, back in the 50s. And who was it? Howard Morris as Savannah.
Yeah,
he was perfect.
He was
totally perfect. And you know, for those of you who don't know, he was back. If you remember the old Andy Griffith show, he was part of that family that kept getting jailed.
Oh, the Hillbilly Family.
Yeah, the Hillbilly Family. Yeah, with the Dillards and everything.
I think there was an animated show about, 15 years ago with Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah.
And they brought in Mordru. And somebody goes, look, finally Mordru's on screen at last. And I'm like, not the first time.
Not the first time. Yeah, the Mordru was pretty good, too.
and they're like, what? And I pointed them to that, and they're like, oh, my God.
They nailed it.
What was this? And I showed them pictures of the guy. You know, he looked pretty good as Mordru.
Yeah, and of course you had the return of Frank Gorshin as the Riddler.
The Riddler,
yeah. That was so good. Yeah, I think overall they did an inspired job on the villains. You know, the heroes, kind of, sort of, did okay.
Was very, very thin.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That was the problem with it. It was thin. It
was like a roast. Yeah. What was it? The second one was a superhero roast.
Yeah, that was sad.
And the whole thing about the Atom dating Giganta in the roast.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I was like, really?
There was something interesting about Giganta. The actor who played Giganta. It's do you know what it is, Brian?
Yes, I do. You were right with both descriptions for the time.
The first trans actor to portray a superhero, as far as anybody knows.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, but so yeah,
it's sort of like the Saturday morning, the Friday evening, Saturday night preview show that had the first live action team up of Batman and Superman. It's like,
that's right, with Chuck Woolery. That one you found. That one I found. I forgot about that.
Nobody knows who played Batman in it. So
they've had some guesses.
Kurtwood Smith is a guess that comes up, but I don't know what they base it on because they don't sound alike or anything. But
yeah, and I would think that Kurtwood Smith is not the right age for that.
Yeah, so
I have no idea. And I looked at them. I did some research after you showed me that link, and there is no record of who played the guy.
Nope.
But it did have Rick Springfield with his original Australian accent, though.
Right. Yep.
Which, by the way, I saw Rick Springfield does some great stuff online.
Red Foreman?
No, Rick Springfield.
Oh, you said Kurtwood Smith, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that guy.
That's Red Foreman. I was like,
yeah.
Are they talking about Red Foreman? I was like, yeah, they are. Okay.
Yeah, but
as Batman.
Maybe we don't know.
I want to hear. It's like, can you just picture it? Because like Red Foreman from that TV show. It's just like
he can't be Batman. Dick Gautier is Batman.
Yeah,
that's how the
Gautier is Jaime. He will always be.
He will be Jaime now and forever. You're right. No, he's Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When things were rotten, remember?
Things were rotten. Yeah.
He was so good in that. He was really good.
But he was great as Jaime.
He was.
You know, we could settle the whole Kurtwood Smith as Batman thing if only they had a scene in that preview show where he would say to a Robin actor,
"Dumbass.
Quick, to the bat poles, dumbass."
That will be the Frank Miller scripted episode.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like him. It doesn't look like him. I mean, it may be him when he was young, but well, you know, when you're young, Chuck Woolery playing Superman, that's hard to believe too. But there he was doing it. So.
And it's funny because we know who all the other Batman were. Like there was a series of OnStar commercials. We know who the Batman was in there.
I gotta look this up. I'm just picturing Chuck Woolery as Superman.
Oh yeah,
That
that's it.
He wasn't half
ultra
bad.
campy. That is ultra campy for me.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
That
yeah.
doesn't look too bad. No.
He did a decent job. Of course,
Yeah.
not much was asked of him either. But of course, you also had a stuntman who obviously did not resemble Chuck in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be as jarring as if I were his stuntman. You could tell it's apart easily.
But we were
He's a
talking about.
brunette.
We're
Oh
talking
my
about-
goodness! I'm looking at the pictures. I'm like,
Yep. Yeah. We're talking about the what a feast era we live in compared to the famine we lived back then. I was one of those kids that was watching the Brady Kids animated show because they had Wonder Woman, Superman, and the Lone Ranger somehow appearing as animated characters on there over the course of their season.
Yeah, I did the same. I
Yeah.
did the same. Of course, I was also watching, Dinah Woman, the Electric Girl? Usually with the sound off.
Hey, you know.
Oh, I know. I know. I'd crushed on Judy Stranges for the longest time since Room 222. So.
Yep.
And all of our audience is going, what the hell are you old people talking about?
Deidre Hall, before she became a soap opera star,
Yeah.
was Electro Woman.
Yeah, and somehow manages not to age. I used to be hooked on Days of Our Lives for about 5 years. During that time when it became kind of like this weird Dark Shadows kind of thing, and Deidre, her character got possessed by a demon.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember Smallville, remember the episode where Clark discovers his heat vision? Because he got horny.
He got horny.
Yeah, he got horny, basically. And remember that brunette that played his teacher? Krista Allen, that was her name. She was in the soap at the time.
Oh.
Tom Welling's going to be on the Winchesters.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I liked the first episode. It came on this week, but I'm a big Supernatural fan. So.
Okay. I have not seen a single episode of Supernatural. I really want to fix that.
What?
Yeah, I know, and we're still friends, right? Yeah, somehow I've not managed to see that. I don't know why.
You got to watch the Scooby-Doo episode anyway.
Well, yeah, that's a must. Yeah, because Scooby-Doo and I, we go
If
back.
you decide to watch it, watch the first 5 seasons, quit, then go skip through and find the Scooby-Doo episode. I like the musical episode too, but the Scooby-Doo episode is so awesome because it's animated. It's just really
Well, yeah. Well, a horror series since Buffy is not legit unless it has at least one musical episode. So,
And none of them, I don't think, have been as good as the Buffy the musical.
Buffy was exceptional.
How about The Flash?
That was pretty good, but I still
like
did
that
not-
one. I'll listen to
Wasn't bad.
music from that one.
I was
bad.
I wasn't
I got a
humming it the
question
next
now.
day though.
I got a question now because I just watched that clip
I
Uh-huh.
did too.
of that, and I'm up here. It's like I'm thinking it's 1973.
Yeah.
Right.
Wouldn't Adam West still be up under contract by ABC at that time?
It's possible.
It could still be Adam West up under that outfit.
If you hear the voice though, it doesn't sound
doesn't
like
sound
it's
like
not,
him at all.
it's distorted. It does sound distorted, but I'm just wondering because again, if there's no credit for it, it pretty much could have been just Adam West, and they just changed his voice.
I think we could tell by the mouth and the profile.
Yeah.
I think
And he
it's
didn't
also
move
a
like
different-
Adam West.
It's also a different front plate for the mask too,
it's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
True.
because
Well, of course
it had more like a gold ring around his nose, and normally that's a blue.
But
Right.
like when they
I think it
wanted
was
to do
Clayton
that,
Moore.
yeah. When they wanted to do the equal pay PSA, that's why Dick Gaudier got to play the part because
Right.
Adam West wouldn't. So I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't think
PSA
because that would have been like
contract.
about 3 years after Batman. I don't know that you don't hear about contracts going that long because they would have learned their lesson with Milton Berle.
Yeah.
Because Milton Berle, he got a 30-year contract from NBC, and they didn't know what to do with him. And then he managed to break that. Then he got a similar pay or play from ABC, because they launched him in a show about 1967, about 66, I think it was, and it tanked. It totally tanked, but they still had him under contract. That's why he was in Batman. Because they had to use him.
Yeah.
And that's when he became Louis the Lilac. And he did anytime anybody had a variety show, whether it was Hollywood Palace or Shindig, Milton Berle was there because he had nowhere else to go. TV Movie of the Week, Milton Berle's on it because there's no place else for him to go. So.
McFarlane's doing a toy of him.
He was on it.
Ooh, I'd buy it. I'd buy that toy. You see, I like Milton Berle. One, I think he's funny despite all the things you hear about him. Although he did a thing on his own show, there's a clip of it on YouTube with Van Williams and Bruce Lee. When they were doing Green Hornet.
Green Hornet, yeah.
They're awesome. Milton Berle's awful. Of course, he's got a terrible script, and it's about a guy who is a hungry actor, and he gets a job on 2 shows at the same time, and one of them is the Green Hornet.
Oh.
And he's a stunt guy. Yeah, so it's I'm not saying it's lame, but it can park right next to the door of the supermarket, if you know what I mean. So
I've only heard one thing about his personal life.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, that's the only thing I haven't heard. Why he was like behind stage or anything. Well, I mean,
well, if he had what you're thinking of,
what was behind his pants is all I've ever heard about.
Well, no. Who was it? Yvonne Craig in her autobiography had nice things to say about him. Said he was very kind, very helpful, very good on the set, very professional, but very nice to everybody. But you always heard stories about him. Well, he was renowned for stealing jokes from other comedians. And that is like a sin and a half. Stealing jokes from other comedians. That's not kindly looked upon. So, but anyway, like it has been said, we have come a long way, baby, as they used to say in the cigarette commercials. And you may get some uneven shows like She-Hulk, but it still beats the hell out of what many of us grew up with. Mm-hmm. So we are grateful for the
we grew up with Thor and Daredevil and Hulk together in a special.
That's true. Yeah,
which
Rex
I liked
Smith.
as a kid, but I can't watch it now to save my life.
Oh no.
The Thor is embarrassing. The Thor is truly embarrassing, and I wince at Daredevil because they just missed the entire point about Daredevil. The costume wasn't half bad. Yeah, he's blind. But his enemies don't know this, so you put like this wall of fabric in front of his face. It's flat, and it's like, hey, he can't see. Wait a minute, he's blind. It's like dumbasses. So, I love backdoor pilots. So, or as many of us think of it, as throwing a bunch of it against the wall and see what sticks. So, or what stinks of the barn. So anyway,
you gotta give Stan Lee credit. He tried and tried for years to get something going with networks, from the cartoon industry all the way up to the live action times, with limited success, but he never gave up.
No, even up till his last days when he was working with Marvel, he was always hustling, trying to get somebody / anybody to pay attention to the Marvel IPs. God bless the man for it. So it was good. It was good of him. So
I did hear a review of Black Adam today.
Oh, what did they say?
They said it's the best DCU movie since Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Well, that's kind of a.
I'm like,
depending on who you are.
Another movie since then?
Well, there was that radio show called Batman v Superman. Because I couldn't see. The first time I watched it was on my laptop, and I couldn't see a damn thing because it was so dark. Except the scenes with Wonder Woman. But if I'm going to watch any of the movie, that's Gal Gadot, no problem.
Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
Hey, Black Adam's got the JSA in it, making their big screen premiere. Some of them, so I gotta be at least marginally on board with it. But
I'll definitely watch it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm there.
And I've always liked the idea of Black Adam being an anti-hero rather than a straight-up villain in the modern era. So
Yeah, same here. And it's got Pierce Brosnan.
There you go.
I've only seen one thing. I wasn't real thrilled with Pierce Brosnan in. Mamma Mia.
I
Yeah.
liked it in Mamma Mia.
I did too.
I liked Mamma Mia, but that man cannot sing.
Joe's like, what kind of crap are you guys watching?
I'm going back to drawing to
They
hell
went
with you
from
three.
comic shows to Mamma Mia? Come on.
Yeah, really. No,
Hey,
but he made a
don't
great
you-
Bond.
Don't disrespect Mamma Mia because my beautiful wife loves Mamma Mia. So
I love the music. I love
And,
the script. Pierce Brosnan, I love him till he starts singing. And then after that, he's flatter than Kansas. You know, and I ain't talking about Carry On Wayward Son. But no, Pierce Brosnan is a terrific actor. I've seen him do a lot of stuff, a lot of action films. He's fantastic. And I still am very, very fond of Remington Steele.
Mhm.
You know, that was such a good show. So, and he was fantastic. And it came out this week that he had auditioned for Tim Burton's Batman.
Oh,
But he had made an offhanded remark about, I'm not sure about portraying men who wear their underwear on the outside of their clothing.
oops.
And this apparently rubbed Mr. Burton the wrong way. So,
I think Mr. Burton likes to be rubbed the wrong way.
it could be. It could be. Going back to the giant-sized man things of earlier.
He's just a strange feller.
Yeah. Yup. Oh. Well, we have been at this almost 3 hours.
I got a show due in 15 minutes. Let's wrap it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, let's wrap this thing up. So, tell you what, Clyde, let's start taking us out of here. What do you say?
All right, let's do
I'll
it.
give you the screen here.
Okay. Hey, my name's Clyde Hall, and I am a self-proclaimed elder statesman of geekery. What's that mean? Well, I took part in tabletop RPG games with characters who went after vampires with holy water-loaded super soakers before the first Lost Boys movie. I wrote DC fan fiction wherein Black Adam created his own Atom family by bequeathing his powers before DC did it for real. I wrote and filmed an amateur superhero movie called Rocket Man with a hero in black and red spandex about a month before ABC put Ralph Hinckley into his red and black space pajamas in Greatest American Hero. In short, I'm old, and I've always been on the right track, but never on the right timetable. Until now, because now I do online comic reviews at places like ComicsBeat and DoomRocket.com, and I'm an independent author and a contributing writer at Stormgate Press. Available right now, you can get Tim Bruckner's Major Marjorie, a sci-fi retro future anthology with a siren of the spaceways dedicated to protecting our planet from sinister alien invaders. Also available, The Banshee Barnstormer, part of the Captain Hawkins Lost Adventure series from Charles F. Milhouse. Can even famous World War I ace Captain Stephen Hawkland outfly a phantom air show performer haunting a 1934 airmail field? Stormgate Press also offers their Pulp Factory award-winning anthology series, Pulp Reality. This is the latest issue, Pulp Reality 3, although Pulp Reality 1 and 2 are available on Amazon. And Pulp Reality 4 will soon be available on Amazon or by visiting www.stormgatepress.com. You can find and follow me on Facebook at Clyde Hall, or Radiating Positive Vibes with author Clyde Hall, or on Twitter at CJ Hall 1984. But on Thursday nights, look no further than the Rising Tide Broadcast Network studio when we go live on the air with Comic Book Spectrum.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Clyde. And Eric Hawkins.
Hey, my banner's back up for the first time since my old chair broke and I fell on the floor and rolled into it.
Yay!
Yay!
I was laying here like a turtle. I mean, there's a wall here, the printer's here, desk here. I mean, it just snapped. I'm like, Had to get the wife to come help me get out because I just couldn't move. I was sitting, chair up under my butt. It was embarrassing. So I put it back up. I put it back up on Friday when I did a live stream when I launched Zombie Flow Adventures, which is live on Kickstarter. And you should be able to find the link right there, along with my Patreon, where I am putting out a weekly page. Sure, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's pretty cool and fun to do. For Hounds of God, which I already dropped
Good
page
stuff.
2. I dropped it during this show.
I
had
saw.
I had to
Cool.
go in and do the edits Brian gave me. I was like, I got to do that. I'll do
All
that
three
right now.
of them.
Was it 3? Uh-oh.
It was 12.
Yeah, so I went ahead and dropped that. So there's 2 pages. Well, there's actually 4 pages if you count the cover, the inside cover, page 1 and page 2.
Wow.
But you can find me on all these links, and you can find me here every Thursday night. I'm usually drawing something every evening, working on comics. Might not ever get rich or famous with it, but it's fun to do, and I like doing it. So that's
What better reason?
Yay!
And I am going to bail because I got to get to the other show.
All right. Good luck, Eric.
All right,
Take
thank you.
care.
See you guys later. Bye.
Bye-bye. And here is Joe D. McFee.
Yeah, so you can get my books, especially the Amazonia stuff, out there on our company website, which you could get right there on that Linktree link right there. You can go to our online store and order issue number 7, as well as the first 6 issues, as well as Primetime Saturday Night and AWF, which is currently in the works here. And there's a lot more stuff coming down the pike here. I will also be back on Saturday on the Rising Tide Network with another episode of From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher. That's 9 o'clock Central Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Joe.
All right.
Appreciate your rant tonight, too.
Hey, somebody got to, stick up for, hey, if you work that hard and an editor drops the ball,
Yep.
You can't.
Fair game.
Totally agree. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. And I'm Brian K. Morris. If you want to keep up with me, you go right here, risingtide.pub, where we have connections to our monthly insider news sheet. Also, it's free, by the way, to sign up. Also, our broadcasting. Speaking of which, next week, this coming Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, we're reviving Clever Title Pending, and our inaugural episode for the second season. The first season lasted 3 years, so we're going to go for a shorter one this time. But the first show is going to feature Jim Beard and John C. Bruning, 2 great new pulp authors. Together, they are the publishers at Flinch Books, and we're going to talk about publishing. We're going to talk about writing, editing, marketing. So bring your questions. If you have any questions at all about the creative process, these are the guys who will help you find the answers. And Ted Davies Artistry, good to see you, Ted. Glad to have you here. Good evening to you, superhero. Check out Ted's stuff on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings at 10 a.m. He does some really good material. Plus, check out TedDaviesArtistry.com. And also come to HalloCon in, that's going to be the last Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of October, the Halloween weekend. It's going to be at the Econo Lodge at 1507 North Tibbs Road in Dalton, Georgia. I will be there as one of the literary guests. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then also, we're going to be at Writer's Block. And let me get back to that site that I had here, because that's where all the information was. It's going to be, oops, that wasn't it. There we go. All right. And Writer's Block. Yes, Writer's Block is going to be an author fair. That's going to be a week from this coming Saturday at the Franklin Park Mall at 5001 Monroe Street in Toledo, Ohio. I'm going to have some books that you haven't seen yet. And if you make it to HalloCon, I'm going to have a couple more books, brand new, including this one from Becky Books, published by Jim Beard, edited by Jim Beard, and we'll probably be talking about that sort of stuff on Wednesday night on Clever Title Pending. But anyway, folks, thank you for being here. We also want to thank our Patreon subscribers, and if you want to support the Rising Tide, go to www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris, and you'll get to just $1 a month will get you our twice weekly blog, and $5 a month will let you see advanced works and all kinds of other goodies. And also, we also are brought to you by Rising Tide Publications. The Terrors is a brand new book put out by our company, and we'll have that towards the end of the year. And also, especially, as I should say, Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you.
You've worked hard and written a great book. Now, it's time to give it a great cover. If you're an indie author or small press publisher, Plasma Fire Graphics is your source for affordable cover illustration and graphic design. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you.
Check out their Facebook page and then look at the samples at plasmafiregraphics.com, and then ask Jeffrey about his independent creator friendly pricing. You'll be glad you did. He does all kinds of great work and he turns it over very quickly. You will love working with him. It's Jeffrey Hayes at Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you, because it definitely matters to your readers. And that's it for tonight's show. We'll be back in 1 week at 7 p.m., 6 p.m. Central, with another episode of Clever Title Pending. So get to your comic book store, buy you some comic books, and read them, because that's what they're for, okay? And get some enjoyment out of them. And as always, folks, thank you for being here. I'm your host, Brian K. Morse. Please give us a like if you enjoyed this program, and give us a thumbs up if you're on YouTube, rather. And please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. We've got some really cool stuff coming your way. And as always, my friends, stay smart, stay safe, wash your hands, and never apologize for being awesome. Have a great week, everyone. We will see you Wednesday night on the brand new episode of Clever Title Pending, and next Thursday on Comic Book Spectrum. Have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.